Welcome back to the Unlistenable podcast. How's everybody going?
This time we didn't talk over each other on the intro, so that we're doing amazing is what we're doing.
What the fuck are you talking about? Hi, everybody. We have Colonel and Andrew and Toaster and me and blah. I have a very foreboding question to start us off with.
Ooh.
On Twitter, Jackson asks, do you know what gator wine is? With the follow-up question, I want us to answer this without checking if we don't know what it is. Would you try gator wine?
I think I know what this is.
I was
gonna say I think I've tried it.
No. Well, I guess we have.
You're
would
still
you
alive.
try it though? That's still a question though. You might have tried it, but would you try it? Would you still do it?
If it is what I think it is, I've tried it. I'm curious why they're asking this specifically. Is it like a meme thing now?
It may be.
Does anyone know what it is, or do I have to explain it?
I don't know what gator wine is.
I said it was foreboding because I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Oh, I'm making sure I'm covering my bases. I think gator wine is when you mix Gatorade and wine.
Oh no, that's way.
Yeah. And
I would try that. That's fine.
But it's just like
a choose the flavor.
It's just like a shitty wine cooler. It's like a weird mixed drink. I'm pretty sure I've had it like once or twice. I mean, the context here is like, I don't even think that's that weird. Like, I mean, don't get me wrong.
No, I just don't like wine.
Yeah. Like, if you don't like wine, you'll probably not like it. And if you don't like Gatorade, you'll probably not like it. I think the logic is Gatorade hydrates you and wine gives you a really bad hangover. So the idea is you mix it and then you drink the wine and it's kind of fruity. And it's like, I won't get super hungover. Now,
just drink water. What is wrong with you?
The first image I see is the fucking like barefoot Pinot Noir red wine and then blue Gatorade Zero.
Yeah.
Jesus.
I think
it was like toilet wine, but made out of gators.
No, it's just mixing wine and like Gatorade. The thing is
made
though,
out of gators.
If people think this is weird, they will die if they ever meet Zach. Which is when Zach goes to we've gone to
bring
cons,
him back on the podcast, special guest.
Zach, I'm throwing him under the bus right now. This is
he's never been he's never been on the podcast. He's just been the thumbnail for the podcast.
Zach is a very good friend of ours. I went on a vacation with him a few months ago. We went to Disney World together. And Zach's drink of choice for partying for a very long time is he literally mixes Bacardi coconut with liquid IV.
What?
And he drinks that. It will be like a bottle full of it, and then we'll drink it over the course of like a day.
What is the point at that point?
Yeah, what is the point?
It keeps you hydrated, man.
You could just do that with water. You don't have
just
to
water it down.
Yeah.
You don't have to make the most like.
I respect his hustle. I think he's a genius.
He's a mad genius because he never gets hungover, and I do.
Yes, very easily.
He also
drink water
very little though.
Yeah.
Toaster is easily defeated by alcohol.
I'm very easily defeated by alcohol. I used to not be. I used to be able to drink people under the table, iron stomach, like no, absolutely no hangovers, things like that. But then I turned 30 and I die now. So
KO.
For me, it's the opposite.
There's the joke. I posted a screenshot of. That's a screenshot. It's a photo. I posted a photo of like the car, the hand sanitizer from my car that had like. It's like coconut lemon hand sanitizer, and Brew was like, "That it's like that. If you don't let that near Zach, he'll just down it."
Oh god,
just an upsetting coconut liquid.
It's got alcohol in it, I think. It's got soap in it as well. It's bad. Don't let it near Zach.
The answer is yes. We would try gator wine because it's not interesting. It's not that big of a deal.
Yeah, it's just not very. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
If you like if you drink a Gatorade vodka, I don't know why you wouldn't drink a Gatorade wine. You know, it's just like a shitty wine cooler.
Yeah.
Gatorade.
Estellian asks, "What's the most efficient way to topple the American government?" I'm gonna add wrong answers only.
in Minecraft.
I mean, it. Okay.
Does it have to be in Minecraft?
Like it matters. You're not.
It's very hard to
It's
tell
wrong
things in
answer.
Minecraft because it
Yeah.
doesn't have physics.
It's wrong
So
answer.
I would.
Except it floats.
I would hit the president with a diamond sword and
Okay,
then win. Like
You
take
can't do
his
that.
stuff.
Have you seen the
I
dragon?
know he's got
lasts
2
forever.
buckets of lava on him. I will take them and make diamonds. or
Shatters
make
into pork
bedrock.
chops. Yeah, nice.
I mean, okay. Realistically, if you want to destroy America, you just do what's already happening, which is you gain a lot of money, you buy a lot of things that is necessary to gain power in America, which is usually information or control of people, and then you use that money to influence people to do or to vote against their best interests, which is what has been happening in this country for hundreds of years. So, yeah, just be rich. If you're rich, you can destroy any country, realistically.
That wasn't the question.
What's the question? How would I take down America?
Specifically, the American government.
Yeah,
Not
the
just America, 'cause
government,
you-
not the people. It's the opposite.
Yeah.
No, that's what you do. You literally have people right now voting to remove their own rights. Like
Yeah.
you can just trick people into
that makes the
dismantling
government
their own
stronger.
government. How does that
Yeah.
make the government stronger?
Because you're
Because
literally
people
removing
have free
everyone's
will.
rights.
Yeah.
Tell me how many fascist governments survive long term. They don't. They cripple and fall apart because you can't
We're not
run a
ready for this
country that way.
conversation. This is not even as a
And
joke.
rolling out of
This is going to be such a shit show.
I'm just saying, if you want to destroy a country, turn it into fascist because then other countries will come and kill it immediately. It's like a cancer. You can't let that country exist for long term. So you just make it unhospitable for the rest of the world and they'll take care of the problem. Like I don't have to do anything. Why do I need to do anything?
Jericho asks, what's something y'all would go back in time to warn your past selves about? And I would pick reading that question.
Overthrow the government, Andrew. You have the knowledge. Do it now. I feel like people say that, but they don't actually understand the consequences of that. Like you can't just say, just like overthrow any government. Like,
then we have a new question.
The question is basically asking what's your biggest regret, right? Or am I misunderstanding?
What would be useful information to have just in general? I mean, a lot of people would be like, I go back and tell myself to not date that person, or I would go back and give myself a lottery number or something, right?
Ew, no, I'm not paying taxes.
Right now.
You're not paying tax. That's why you don't play the lottery. That's fair. I mean,
I have what I would do right now, which is I would go back in time and save myself $80 and tell myself not to buy Wukong, which I 100% completed yesterday.
Oh no!
Congrats.
Yeah, I finished it. I'm finally free from Wukong prison. People can't tell me that I don't know how to play the game when I have 100%ed the game. I beat the hardest bosses, blah, blah, blah. That game sucks.
I think that was still only last episode too.
It was last episode, yeah. I finished it and I want my $80 back. So I'd probably go back in time and tell myself, hey, don't cover this shitty game. You'll just save yourself the pain.
I can't.
You could have saved your money on a billion different transactions, and you could have. There's 100 other ways to get more money back, but this one spitefully takes it back from Wukong.
Yes, exactly. I don't know. I mean, realistically, I've spent that money already again in the form of games that I've bought this week, but like, it's fine.
Also, y'all are all motivated by negative feedback. I'm learning how you guys work, audience.
Really?
You want to do some A/B testing? We got a bunch of random topics, videos about a bunch of random topics. It's just like it's whatever the podcast does, whatever it does. But specifically, I have 2 episodes that are like the one that's just called like Lethal Company is good, and one that's called Helldivers 2 is good. Literally the least viewed things in the entire last like 20-30 episodes of the podcast are ones that are just titled "This Game is Good." But the ones about fucking Indigo Park and Wukong have like multiple times the viewership of the rest of the podcast series.
Oh no, Keith has discovered
so
how social media works.
I knew this, but I'm just like, you guys suck, and this is your fault. This is why the internet's like this.
No.
So
The people
Keith
listening
is gonna
now
go back
don't
in time
talk.
and kill the internet.
They might.
The
You don't know
people
what I
listening
titled
now-
this yet.
Oh
Well-
no, you're gonna betray us like that?
You don't know.
Now
I don't know
no
yet.
one-
I'm crazy.
Now that we've alienated our entire dedicated viewership, we can talk about the real topic of this podcast, which is how to overthrow the American government outside of
now
Finally.
now that nobody's listening. No.
Now the feds have turned off.
But it's like,
God,
Jesus.
like,
Okay, well, I'm gonna turn the tides then, and I'm gonna go back in time and let myself know about Pathologic in 2005. It's gonna change my life. Mm-hmm.
What if you had good taste sooner?
Yeah, basically.
except back then you wouldn't have been able to play it because the fucking original release of that game has the worst English translation of all time.
Yeah.
I would get past it.
Did Colonel have good English back then either? Checkmate, Toaster.
Just learn Russian. Just go back
Yeah.
in time and learn Russian.
I was a grown man of 18 by
He'll just be in a
then.
different timeline. I don't know what that means for your English. Why would I know?
It
I'm
wasn't
a
very
Colonel
good,
historian.
I've been playing RPG since I was like 15, so it's like my English must have been decent. I don't remember exactly, but I remember having some trouble understanding some bits of more complicated games. But I still have that, and my English is all right. So I don't think it was the English that was the problem. I think it was something else.
Scrolling through like the last 20 episodes. Environmental storytelling, 3,000 views. Edgy sense of humor, 3,000 views. The industry dumps Unity, 3,000 views. Just very consistently, like 3,000 views for like every single video.
See,
and
nice
then
people.
We get to Helldivers Good. You get to Helldivers, 2,000 views. You get the Lethal Company, like 2,000 views. Can a prequel not suck? 1.6 thousand views. Fucking Indigo Park. I keep forgetting what it's called. I want to say Indigo Prophecy. 8,000 views. Fucking Black Myth Wukong, 8,000 views.
I don't want to hear these stats. I don't want to know how many people watch
the worst mechanic in
episodes of our
gaming with the
podcast.
Von Lykion thumbnail from Zenless Zone Zero, 5,000 views.
That wasn't even a very good podcast.
No, but it says worst in red text on it, so it's like
Mm-hmm. I saw the comments.
I tried to recreate that thumbnail in the next one. It's like, is paid early access scalping? But it's such an esoteric question about Colonel's incredibly specific, confusing question that it's like, it's illegible.
Look,
so that one has terrible.
that's
Like the least viewed thing in the entire last few months.
I like to couch my arguments before, so that people. But it's bad because it doesn't work either way.
No,
and then it makes them less intelligible.
People deeply want to believe that people just follow the creators they like and they watch the stuff they make and so on. But it literally is like 90% of the content is just the title and thumbnail. And so whether or not I can come up with a good one or not that will grab people is like more important than what we say in this podcast. And like looking at these fucking things, it's literally like it could be this is the same podcast series. Part 105 has 1.4 thousand views. Part 107 has 8.2 thousand views, just because it's like one of them was a confusing question in the title, and the other one is Black Myth Wukong is garbage, and here's why.
We just need to title this episode "Andrew's on an FBI watch list?" ?
That's probably true.
Grimes in the thumbnail.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's definitely true.
I believe that.
I thought.
How many times can you travel back in time? Is it only
how many watch lists can I get off of?
Yeah, I'm gonna get on more right now.
I can see the. How is that helpful?
If I can only go back in time one time, I'm going back exactly to like 1946 when the creation of the UN was made and put all of them into a saw trap.
That wasn't the
exactly
question.
What world leaders survive.
That's not even go back in time to warn yourself.
You weren't alive.
No, I have to go back. Oh, I have to go back and tell myself. Okay, then I would go back. I would go back to when like
you to invent time travel and then go back in time to give yourself the schematic.
Oh no! I can't. Never mind. That would put me on a watch list. Okay, so even better. I'm gonna go back in time to when I just graduated high school, and I'm gonna tell myself that everything I learned was legitimately useless. And I think I would take that encouragement and knowledge that I was right and use that to have a better life, because I would no longer be I would be no longer be held back by the idea that maybe I made a mistake, but I didn't make a mistake. I was right. School was a waste of time because education in this country is
You
a
were
joke.
right.
So that I don't have to worry about that. I am, in fact, stupid, and I don't have to go to school to know that. It was a useless to go for 12 years to learn
Finally.
that.
I can imagine if you right now went back to your 18-year-old self and told exactly that. Your 18-year-old self would not believe it. You'd have
I
to
mean,
come
if
up
it was
with
me
something,
telling him, yeah, I would absolutely believe myself. If I showed
You
up,
would?
if I saw my adult self show up, it'd be like, yeah, what the hell
Oh, hell yeah.
happened? And then that, yeah, it would be great. Oh, it'd be fun.
Me and that guy Andrew, we go way back.
Oh, we go way back. I know. I trust that guy with my life. Actually, wait, no, I don't. Hold on. I rescind that comment. I don't trust that guy with my life.
He literally has it. How's he doing?
That guy tried to take it. That guy tried to take it once. I'm not fucking giving it back to him. Get out of here.
Oh, okay.
Like, huh? What was that? Did you
Mhm.
cough?
No, I didn't. I just said,
Well, you didn't do that when you were young? You didn't have like a puberty
no.
and feel overwhelmed by the world and think like, man, this is awful. I hate everything. And then you wake up one day and go, wait a second, I'm just a child. I don't know what anything is. I can't make that decision. I'm fucking dumb. I'm still not full. I'm not finished with my education. That's useless to me.
My high school experience was luckily decent because I was
What does that
relatively
mean? Is it
because I was
relevant to
relatively
high
bullied
school?
in middle school,
Oh,
and then in high school I just adopted a I don't give a fuck kind of attitude, not because I was like a rebel or anything, but that coupled with the fact that my immediate colleagues in the same class were pretty good. I was yeah, I never really experienced the angst, the sort of in high school angst that's sort of typical or relatable. It was for me the angst came after in university and stuff. And just sort of more related to
in
life choices.
university. Why?
Oh yeah, yeah. Oh, well, it's you start to talk with different people and things. It's just completely different environment and stuff. Well, oh, that's right. Because high school here is very localized, so everybody that you see in
Yeah,
every
that's,
college,
I
of
think
yours
that's most high schools, isn't it?
Okay, yeah, okay, yeah. You know, that's
I don't know. I went to high school with people that I went to elementary school with. Like
Yeah, yeah.
I knew those clowns for my entire life.
yeah, that's what I mean. So your culture and
Oh,
your
okay,
priorities and stuff is sort of very close. And then when you start to deal with people that come from completely different walks of life,
Oh,
yeah.
right. I
It's like-
forget like America is such a hot pot of people. Like you can't like friction is just built into
Hot
the
pot.
system.
hot fun.
Yeah, it is. It's a hot pot of shit. Like you can't. You're gonna clash with a bunch of other different cultures just on
Just right from the start.
starting. Yeah, just right
Yeah.
from the start. You're gonna interact with people who have like wildly different views of like how the world should work and what you should believe the world even is. So
Mhm.
it is so like even if it's localized, you will just run into like somebody who is from 14 different parts of the world just on the whole. As long as you live on a coastal state. If you live
Mhm.
inland, I'm sure your experience is like,
Yeah, more rural
farmers.
areas and stuff. Yeah,
and
it's
that's
different.
it. I don't know what else is there. Maybe
It's
like
probably closer to what I had.
okay,
'cause, you
yeah,
know-
that's what I figure is like the like Europe is probably more localized until university because there's not a lot of expat high schoolers. But
Mhm.
once you get to like an adult, then you'll start encountering a lot more people from various different regions of Europe.
Yeah.
Whereas
yeah.
the US is just kind of like, I don't know, everyone here is kind of just from somewhere. I don't know. They're mostly not from here because all the people from here live on like reservations. So everyone's from somewhere else.
Wait, reservations?
Yeah, he's talking about
Yeah,
natives.
Native Americans are
Oh,
on,
right.
live on
That's
reservations.
what he means
but
by
everyone,
nobody's from America, and that
Right.
Yeah.
because we're a colony.
No.
We're nightmares.
yes. Yeah,
I think that's a really abstract way of viewing what locality is in terms of high school students, but I mean,
is it?
yeah,
No, I was
yeah,
literally
I think it
actively.
is.
I got really quiet because I was actively trying to trace back the thought process to where we started. Because I'm like, what the fuck are we talking about now?
Mm.
I
The
lost
warning of
thread.
the past, or maybe not warning. Maybe it's just in my
Yeah,
case
how
a
to-
positive thing. that isn't buy Bitcoin.
Is there anything worth telling yourself as an like again besides like make money rich or make money quick schemes? Like there isn't really anything that you could tell yourself that's gonna fix.
I would
yourself.
travel
if you're gonna
back
be
10
realistic-
years and just tell myself to finish my Resident Evil 6 video. Because like it was gonna
Okay.
yeah, because it was gonna suck, but I would have done it. And then I would have made more, and I would have been making video essays type content since 2013 or 14, instead of starting like 2 years ago. And that is a much better wagon to hitch my shit to than than what I'm doing right now.
I guess. I just
Let's
don't.
Let's
yeah, I
Plays are
don't-
not doing
again,
amazing.
But isn't that just still just having going back in time and telling yourself to do something better to make more money? Like again, I feel like there's
I
no use of a
guess.
time machine besides to go be profitable. But you're not going to go back in time and be like, wait, don't jump off a cliff. Like you obviously, like like there's nothing you can go back in time and solve really, except for maybe you could help somebody else survive.
I mean,
think the
it's not hard.
answers
It's
some
not
of-
hard. It's hard not to jump to just like, hey, what would I change to just have a better life right now because of my current constraints that
Yeah.
I'm dealing with every day that I'm incapable of shifting.
Yeah, that
I also
seems- I don't
think,
know.
given the subject matter and the target audience of Keith's viewers, I think the answer people are fishing for is I would go back in time to me in high school and I would say, come out as gay earlier and get all the boyfriends because gay marriage is going to be a thing in 2015 and it's okay to be yourself. Like, I think that's the kind of life change thing people are
No.
looking for. But the thing is,
Don't
is
do
that
that.
to we it's not a podcast full of gay guys with that salacious of history, so it's like it's not that big of a deal.
Also,
That's
I
true
think
though.
you're people.
I
people are
like
very
I definitely would have
underestimating the
liked to
difference
come
of
out early. Like
location.
I was robbed my slut era. I need to, it's fucked up.
Well, no, also not true. I know that is absolutely not true.
What are you saying?
you
I'm
wouldn't have
saying
gotten
that-
any in high school, Keith.
Oh my god.
Andrew's so evil. What a
Oh my
cruel
God.
thing to say.
Well, I'm on another list now.
I can't believe that this is happening.
It's roasted.
No, I'm.
High school is when there was a rumor I was gay, and I still cannot parse why.
I'm
It's so
aware.
confusing.
I'm very aware of that.
'Cause you
Yeah,
were.
I was.
Yeah, but that no one could
I
know.
mean,
No, you've told the story
okay.
before, and I
I feel
agree
like
with
more
you.
people
that
know than they
difficult part.
realize. My gay coworkers clocked me as gay not because I was gay, but because I was nerdy. So I mean, it's just a thing that
It's just
happens.
confusing. Yeah, they just. But that's not true though. Like that's not fair. They're just like, oh, someone's just like vaguely like not fitting in well. They must be gay. It's like what? That's weird.
Correct.
That's a weird leap.
Correct.
I don't think
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think
true.
I knew I was gay fully yet in high school. Like, so what the fuck? Like, there was,
I think
like the-
yeah, it's just differences, and like you don't act a way that straight people do. Straight,
It's
I'm
so
saying this with
weird.
quotations, but you can't see it. But straight people,
'cause I don't act in any
like,
way that's
they-
like stereotypically gay. I don't like talk differently or move differently or like dress differently or like in any way behave a way that people usually
many
mean
girls
when
you
they say
banging?
that. I had girlfriends in high school.
But how were you banging them?
I don't know, but they don't know.
Kind of
what?
sus, my man. Are you gay? Why are you not banging the girls? Like that's how dumb it is. It's literally that dumb. It's the idea of like, man, I haven't seen that guy. I haven't heard that guy talk about boning girls, or like he hasn't made a comment about a girl's ass. Like that's kind of weird. There's a lot of like tiny little checks, little tiny social handshakes that straight people have where they go, X hasn't said X or X hasn't said a Y thing in enough time. Kind of weird. I don't know why he's not doing that.
Why isn't Keith talking about the Avengers? It's so weird. Scarlett Johansson in that movie is so banging. That's why I want to go see it. dog.
Right?
I feel like
That-
this is why
exactly.
straight men are so weird. Like they're
This is
so
why, this is
they're
why
so
people
they're
are
so,
weird. They have
No, I
weird
just mean like
arbitrary
they're so
rules.
fucking neurotic about constantly
performative, yeah.
projecting that they're straight and want to fuck everybody all the time. Because if they lapse for 5 minutes, everyone thinks they're gay because they missed a note in a song. Basically, it's like
I don't think
a
it's
fucking-
conscious. I think it's just
No,
a
it's
thing
not
that
conscious.
Well, no, it's
people
trained.
do.
Yeah.
Sure.
Well,
I don't even think it's trained. I think it's just a thing that
You think they're just actually like that? I can't
Yeah.
accept that. They're it
No,
sounds
it's definitely
insane.
trained.
Yes.
It's so
yeah,
Well, I
awful.
mean, I
It's-
think it's trained in the it's like psychosocial sense. I don't think people are like, oh, I need to think about this because if I don't think about this,
Yeah.
people will think I'm gay. It's just like
that is correct.
it is a thing that people do in the way that when I go to fighting game locals and I speak fighting game terminology and don't think about it, like it's just code switching. It's just how language works. But I think the bigger thing is that like, and this is something that like even I pick up on as a gay person when I go out to spaces and I'm like, who in this room is gay, so that I can inherently trust people and like
Which
make
one
friends
are
with
you?
them. There are just people who don't fit in, and even if they aren't gay, they give gayer vibes than people who are completely conforming, the frat bros, you know, like sitting on the
Yeah.
couch talking about smacking asses. Like people do pick up on that stuff, and 95% of the time you'll be like, you know, hey, what are your views on things? And it turns out that they're queer positive, and it's like, okay, I wasn't wrong about that. I think a lot of people, I think even young people, like teenagers, pick up on that more than you realize. Like that's just what gaydar is just like recognizing who doesn't fit the exact mold. And then sometimes they're straight, sure. Sometimes they're gay, sure. But like you are more likely, you're likelier to have a higher hit rate with people being gay if you pay attention to that than if you just guess randomly.
Yeah, I remember.
I
I
would
remember
say
that
I
like
agree.
in throughout all of school, I was basically like afraid of normal people. Like people
What
that
does
just
that
people
mean?
that just seemed normal. I didn't like wanting. I didn't want to interact. They were
What?
intimidating. I didn't want to interact with them. I thought they'd hate me.
Oh, you mean like standard flare people? People who
Yeah.
just have like the
Like-
no chips in the armor kind of deal? Okay.
Like there's like popular people, and then there's just like people that are like normal enough that they're probably popular or they're probably like doing fine. Like I hate to break it to you, any
I have
old high
friends like
school
that.
friends that somehow find this. If I hung out with you, I thought you were weird. But it's because I thought I was weird, and that was like that's like I was looking for the weird people because like it seemed like it would work out.
I
That's
love that I
a-
did the opposite thing. I used normal people as a shield socially. Like it was if I could find a bunch of yeah.
I remember
I mean
seeing
during
your
high
lineup
school.
all the time of people. It
No,
seemed
during
odd.
high school. So during high school, I had a lot of weirdos around me because that's because the only way to
Yeah.
get through something you don't enjoy is by having people around you that you can tolerate enough to make the experience lessen.
Yeah,
But
from an outside
once
perspective that
once-
never spoke to you guys, you looked like you were just a lineup of like smoking goths. Like it was like the fucking
Yeah.
You looked like the goths from South Park.
Yeah, I guess we were technically. I mean, we were probably in the same formation and stuff too. We did start out.
Yeah,
as
you were
Stu, which
lined
was
up like
fun.
the fucking King of the Hill intro, just because you'd always be
Yeah,
along that
yeah.
one wall. It was like like a Weezer cover. I don't know. I don't want to keep listing things where there's 4 people.
But no, it's a lot of the beginning of like middle school when I started realizing there's like an actual social class system involved. Then it became like, okay, I should probably know people who are functionally normal people, like people who just go to school, go home, do homework, eat food, go to sleep. Like there's nothing unique about their lives. They are, by all accounts, people who are just going to live the most comfortable, normal lives. I had a lot of people like that as friends and people I interacted with. And then like high school, I got rid of all of them because it was so boring. It was very boring to be around people who weren't, I don't know, like just.
You were like seeking out
we're-
the most boring people as camouflage, basically.
Yeah, because like I like in my beginning year of school, I got bullied a lot because I'm not normal. And so it just turned into
Just the
like, okay,
mustache.
well, yeah, so I have to like, no, definitely not the mustache. I couldn't, I still can't even grow facial hair that well. But no, it's just the,
Yeah, I don't think he had a mustache back then.
I know.
I
I'm
definitely did not.
so-
Yeah.
It was the first year of high school. Yeah.
You don't know.
But in like middle, I was just born with a mustache.
Every
Yeah.
class had that one fucked up guy that looked like a grown ass adult.
Yes.
No.
And that wasn't me. I like in middle school, I was like 5, I think I was like 5'8" or something like that. I was like really short.
Hey,
Taller than I am right now.
yeah.
Okay, I didn't say I was microscopic.
You're saying- Oh my god, your goodness, all this
As
microscopic.
background, we didn't have a podcast last week because all of us met up. The four of us and Illusory and Marty and Bird and Lady Bird and Mandy
Brian.
and Brian and Dirk and maybe someone else. There's a lot of people. It was
You
a
say
big
Ka?
enough group of
Ka.
people that it's a big enough group of people that it's actively hard to list them, which became a reoccurring problem when I'd be like, I need to reserve this escape room. I need to reserve this other thing. And I'd be like, how many fucking people are here? And I would
Even when
keep
Toaster had to do
counting and
that.
getting a
When
different
Toaster was
number
struggling.
and increasingly was losing my fucking mind. But early on when we were picking everybody up, it's like, okay, I need to find Marty and Ka because I'm just towering over everybody. It's getting weird. just entire groups of people where I'm just like it feels like I'm a foot taller than like 5 people at once.
That's a gay concern. Normal people don't care about if they're taller than other people.
I was
That's a
going to
gay
say,
concern.
being
They don't,
taller
look
is
for,
better.
they don't look for taller people.
I'm revealing
Just,
myself
like,
as
just putting
gay
that out there,
because
like,
I
that's
think
a
about
thing.
height difference.
Yes, literally. The fact that you're like, oh my god, I'm around. I'm so much bigger than everyone. I'm domineering over them. Oh no, I must find my people. Not a normal thing. Not a normal thing to think about, Keith. I'm sorry.
It feels weird to be big and to stand out. I want to be small and not noticed.
Weird. You
I
are
want to be a
taller than
small
them.
wayfish.
You are
I want to be a small
superior.
wayfish boy to be saved
No.
by a big man.
Yeah, I don't want
That's
to take up.
weird.
I don't want to take up space.
That's weird. That's weird behavior. You need to take all the advantages you get and use
Everyone
that
who's shorter than me
against the
seems
others.
happier.
No, they are
No.
complacent with their point in life. They don't have a choice. They can't get taller. If you're the tallest, you are the dominating force. This is why you would stand out.
I don't want to
You
be a
need to
dominating
understand-
force.
Yes, you do. If you want to be
No.
normal, you have to dominate. That is normal.
Ew.
Yes,
Superiority
no, yeah.
is the only thing that matters in normality. If you are superior, you cannot be under somebody, and being under someone
See,
means
this
your
is
life
why
is going to
normal
be worse.
people. This is why we can't have nice things.
Normal people will never know the joy of looking up at men.
No, well, I mean,
you
a lot of
wonder
them
why
will, yeah.
you wonder why people thought you were gay.
The thought, this is me as a 34-year-old saying this shit.
No, I Keith was saying this stuff back then too.
We did not talk back then.
You don't know that.
What? Wait.
Next
You don't know
question,
what online
please.
spaces I was on.
Did everybody time travel? I forget.
Toaster didn't.
I did a little, but if since we're pivoting, I do want to tell my younger self what the fuck aromanticism, that's the word. What it is, because I did not know about it until I was in my 30s, and I should have.
Ah.
Would it have been searchable? Was it even?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
I don't think we
it's
had
a thing.
invented arrow as a concept in
I
the
didn't,
last
I didn't
5
mean like
years.
invented, but I meant like I meant it. Was
No,
it something you could easily look up? Was it like could you go to a library and look this
Oh,
up?
like in the web
There were
1.0
books. Yeah, there were
days.
Yeah.
definitely books about it. Yeah.
My
Oh, okay.
my answer to this question would be a little bit different, and it would literally, it's so broad, it doesn't matter. I would tell myself to pick up a hobby and stick to it, just that one.
Just to have your
What kind of hobby?
one identity defining skill.
I would like, yeah, I'm into a lot of things, and I'm knowledgeable enough about a lot of things, but I'm not particularly amazing at any one thing, and it bothers me a lot. Like even the stuff that I'm really into, I am not particularly noteworthy, like with my level of skill in. Like even using fighting games as an example, like I like fighting games a lot. I am not even the best fighting game player in our group of extended friends. Like not even close.
Yeah.
And like,
But you're so much
basically,
better than
Toaster has been taking continuous psychic damage from proximity to Dax.
I have Dax is good at everything, and I am extremely, I respect that man to a degree that like I want to model my life after him being good at what he's good at. But in general, like it like applies to art or even like my life skills. I talked to Andrew about this when we were hanging out. It was like when I was younger, I was good at computers, right? Like I knew, like I did some programming, I did some Python, I learned some computer science principles, but then like I got good enough at computer stuff and tech stuff to feel comfortable, and so that like I was better than my peers. My people came to me when they needed IT help in 2007, so a completely different world. But I just didn't I didn't stick with it. Like if you ask me stuff now about modern PCs, like I can talk about hardware, and I can talk about like, oh yeah, this is like the software that people use, or like, here's how to get Linux set up. But like I don't know how to do like programming things. I don't even know how to begin learning that sort of thing. So I just wish if I could go back in time and tell myself anything, it really would be just like, hey, like instead of learning 150 million things, maybe learn like 5 of them and get really good at those 5 things so that you can actually like stand out and have like marketable skills. Because as of right now, I know how to do a million things, but I am a jack of all trades, master of absolutely none. And it really drives me insane. Like it is probably my biggest like insecurity is that I'm just like, I don't have anything that I am particularly good at compared to anything else.
Do any of us?
Any of us?
I
Do any of us
like
have
a lot
big,
of stuff
big
as well.
skill?
I played guitar. It's the hardest thing that I know that is to learn because I've been doing it for years. But I would say like it's not necessarily the thing that you can market. It's not a resume filler, as it were. I would say
Sure.
though,
I don't know if it's
Toaster,
about like job skills as much as just being like, here's just one thing I'm really fucking good at, and it's like I can like
well, I'm not really
anchor
fucking good at it.
my brain to that and be like, I feel good that I'm good at this one thing. I don't think I have anything.
Yeah, I like the problem with playing the guitar, and it's probably the same for a lot of skills, including gaming, is that there's a hump at the beginning where you get serious, and then you realize how long it's going to take until you're at a place where you can just have fun while practicing, or just have fun while, just doing normal things. So playing the guitar is very much like that. You start off, and for 6 months, you're not gonna have fun. You can have fun if you have people raising you up, but as playing by yourself, it's a slog. And then from then on, you're always going to be looking up at the next best thing or the next song that you want to play at or improvise it over or whatever. So it's it takes time, but gaming is the same thing. Like I tried getting better at shooters specifically, and I put in a lot of hours. This was last year and early this year. Put in a lot of hours practicing aim, and I saw the road ahead of me, and I knew it was going to be a while until I could just sort of actually hang with the like instead of relying on other people's whiffs, I would make strategic, get to where you're like a diamond level Overwatch where you make reliable plays, knowing what people's skills are and stuff like that. I never got there. I got to platinum, so yay. But well, the thing I wanted to tell Toaster though is that product management is a thing that jack of all trades are very good at.
Yeah, that is well, that's like literally my career, is that like my career has become, this is what Colonel's talking about for the audience. I understand what he's saying to me, but that has become my job because I am literally just someone who knows how to spin a million plates at once. And that's like, sure, I guess that's an impressive skill, but it doesn't give me confidence, I guess, is like the bigger thing. Like, I wish I had something that I could like tie myself to and not in a like, oh, I find worth from something else, some like outside factor, but just like knowing I have this core that I can be really good at, that I'm like confident in and stuff like that. Like I don't really have that. I really am just like, I kind of can do a little bit of everything, and like I'm a bench warmer type pick. You can put me on any team and I'll be functional, but I just don't have a specific skill that I'm like, oh, I'm really good at this. And that bums me out. I don't know. It's something that I struggle with.
I totally get it.
I would say you're good at fighting games, but if you say you're not, I believe you because I suck.
He is good at fighting games, but that's not his.
Yeah, I'm okay at them. I would say, and
you've won tournaments, haven't you? I remember Keith talking about it.
I've won a few like smaller tournaments, but they're like local things. What I'm saying is like among my peers, like even if I were to go to Evo, I would wash out in pools. Like I would not do well if I were to go to like a big major tournament. I would be out. Like again, my career high in like Street Fighter 6 is diamond. Like I'm not a master level player. In the fighting game Discord that I created in order to like hang out with other furries that play fighting games, there are a bunch of master level players that started playing these games after I made that server. So like, but I plateau at like diamond and they're all competing in master. You know what I mean? And part of this is like a time investment thing. I'm sure I could get good at stuff if I had the time to invest. That's why I'm saying I would go back in time and say, hey, focus on something, because it really is a matter of time investment.
Yep.
I know people who are really good at games just inherently. And I like there's something in some people that just makes them better. I have learned, because I'm not one of those, I've learned to not let that get to my head when it comes to.
I mean, games are just an example. I have a million hobbies like this where it's like, I could be a better skateboarder. I could draw better, or, you know, like things like that.
Yep.
Yeah, finding your niche.
One of my original YouTube series was just called Get Your Shit Together. And it actually immediately preceded me doing content with Andrew. It was literally just me being like, oh, okay, I see where I am in life. This is going to be probably my last summer ever, like summer break, because I was like home from college and stuff for probably the last time. So I was doing a weekly video series that was being served to basically nobody on this channel. That was it was 3 jobs. Like one was I was exercising every day trying to get in shape. I was practicing guitar every day, and I was practicing digital drawings. I got a shitty little bamboo tablet and was trying to practice art. And it was like just kind of a big stupid ADHD way of approaching things, but it was like this idea of like, I'm going to have skills and focus on these things and actually get anywhere. And yeah, guitar's miserable. Guitar's miserable, exercising is miserable, drawing stuff's fun.
Exercising gets better after a month or two.
Yeah,
like
never made it there. Never make it to the part where exercise isn't just completely miserable and also feels like it never does anything. The drawing was fun, but I just didn't stick to that, and just like how I didn't stick to the Resident Evil like Plinkett review I was working on back in 2014, and like, man, those would have been good skills to be developing for the last decade, because they'd be coming in handy.
Developing, I feel that
like as a YouTuber, I do have the kind of flexible schedule where like I could do art commissions on the side and make okay money, and like the reach of being a YouTuber would increase my reach just enough that people would like take note and potentially be more excited to be like, oh yeah, I want to get an art commission from that guy because I know of him. And then if I was good at drawing, it's like, yeah, I could like, you could potentially make like $100 a week doing like a different drawing for a different person each week or something, and then that's like a significant change in my income. But my drawings are bad. I need to get past that.
Everyone's drawings are bad until they keep drawing and drawing.
I'm trying. It's hard. It's so fucking hard to set aside time continuously all the time. It's just a struggle.
I would do kind of the same thing as Toaster, but I would change my career. I would tell myself not to bother with computers because they're a waste of time, and tell myself to do architecture instead. Yeah. Okay,
architecture is the absolute worst industry to get into. What are you talking about, Andrew?
Because now hear me out. Because I had an in.
He's going to topple the U.S. government literally. By building it badly.
I will build it bad.
He's gonna build in a fucking exhaust port into the United States Capitol building.
So to make this funnier, I literally played a visual novel when I was in high school, and I had the option. There was my computer class and an architecture class right next door to each other, literally. And I worked my ass off to get into the computer class, breeze through it. It was nothing. It was a waste of my time. And the whole time that I was in that class, because I was shunned in that class, I would look through the door and see the architectural students, and they're making like models and doing fun stuff. And I was like, man, I wish I could do that. And so I didn't. And while I was growing up, we had a family friend who was an architect for designing the rides and the experiences at Disneyland. He was literally the guy who designed all of the places at that park.
Hold up though. Imagineers are like the top 0.00001% of engineers. You have to, knowing an Imagineer is not going to get you a job in architecture.
Not an Imagineer.
Push back against this.
No, not an Imagineer. I'm talking about the actual like land designers, the people who came up with the lands that people go to, not the rides. I'm talking about
those are all called Imagineers. They're all the same thing.
What?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, anyways, he had a firm. That firm, he offered me an internship at that firm that was doing the work there. Like that, his company was the one that got contracted out to make the lands. And so I missed an opportunity to do that. And I love building buildings, like making buildings and things like that are so much more fun than computers have ever been, because computers are just a headache. Computers are like cars where it's cool to know it, it's really fun, but 99.9% of your life is people going, I don't understand this really complex and dumb thing. Could you just do it for me? And it's like, no, no, I don't want to. I don't want to. I just want to do the thing that I like doing. And that's not that. I like to make things. I don't want to fix other people's things all day. That sounds boring. But that is what computers is. Computers is mostly you're either on the engineering side, which I don't know enough math, or you're doing the what's it called? Or you're doing the fixing side. And fixing side is not fun. It's not a fun side. It's like it's only fun up until you're doing it 50 times in a row, forever, in perpetuity. And I'm sure architecture is the same. I'm sure there's people who just build the same shitty shopping complex every day. But I don't know. I think there's more room, there's more elbow room to do something different in that space, but computers don't feel like that at all. Computers feel very static because you don't have control over you only have control over what you can change on a software level, but consumer hardware is like nigh impossible to get into and to get adopted. So like you're just gonna have to work within systems someone else made, and those systems are always absolute horse garbage. Like all systems. Windows is shit. Like any mobile operating system is shit. They're all garbage, and that's just what you have to work with. And it's like, I don't know. I hate that. At least a building, you can just make a good building. I can't
until you get to all the regulations and all the permitting and all that. It's really complicated.
Can't believe that Toast is just here to crush Andrew's dreams.
I am specifically.
Crush them.
He says that as I'm sitting here like building him a house, like virtual house.
It is true. It is true. He does make me things all the time.
It's like, you don't understand. This is what makes me happy. I need this.
But I mean, that's what I'm doing as a, that's what I just do as a hobby then. Like I just turn that into a hobby where it's like, okay, that's ultimately the goal is like, you just have to do whatever you're weirdly good at. And then even if you hate it, and then just use the profit from that success to just do the thing you actually like doing. It's just I wish I was more proficient and better and more successful in a thing that made me happy instead of tech. I don't know. Maybe you guys
we're just making sad noises now. That's where we're episode of the podcast.
It's hard to explain, but like at some point you start realizing that kind of you are going to be stuck in a permanent loop of employment, a type of employment, even if you try your best clawing and screaming to not be in it. There is just some things you are innately or unfortunately the best at in a particular way, and that you just do that because it is also annoyingly enough the most profitable thing you can possibly be doing. And like you just think of something else, like it'd be cool if I could just do video essays in perpetuity. Well, why don't you just do that now? Because I can't. Like, I have to do a lot of things to be at a point where I can make that my career, right? Okay, well, fuck you then. Just keep doing the thing that is working for you, I guess, until you maybe can't. But I don't know. It's not hopelessness. It's just frustration. It's like well, if you could go back in time, yeah, because you're gaining time. You're gaining time you can never have back. That is the crux here. It's like, I can't get the time back. I need to go do the thing that I actually want to do because I had to spend all my time doing the thing I don't really care about, but it was successful and profitable enough to build the wealth or the stability to go learn the thing I actually want to learn. But by the time I do that, I realize, like, well, maybe I can make a career out of this, but more than likely, I probably will never achieve as much success and wealth as I would be just sticking to the thing I'm currently doing now.
All right, then let me turn the question on its head then. Because we have all gone back in time, and what I'm going to ask you, and particularly you, Andrew, but everybody can answer. What would you want to be warned about from yourself in 20 years? Yourself comes back in time and warns you now about something. What would you want to be warned about?
I want to be warned about that I was absolutely right in my first initial thought about my anxiety, and that I should absolutely push my body to the ability about its a limit to almost dying, so that I can prove that I was right originally and then get over it immediately, instead of wasting 20 years of my life going, I don't know, maybe I'm right. No one will validate if I'm right, and then finally doing it and being like, yep, I guess I was right. Wow, claps all around, guys. Like, that would be what I would do, because I would gain so much more. I would gain so much time if I had not wasted all of it trying to find different ways to solve a problem that I had already solved, like, in the beginning of it, but just was too scared to act on it because it's scary.
I'm not sure if you're answering my question, but
yeah, I'm going back. I would go back in time and warn. Are you saying, like, if I would go back in time, what would I warn myself about?
No, because that's the original question.
No, I thought the original question was, if you go back in time, what would you, like, tell yourself as advice, or, like, what would you? Okay, what is it? Sorry.
Yeah, so basically the hypothesis is, in 20 years' time, you go back in time to warn yourself right now of something.
What?
I mean, I'd probably go back in time and tell myself, you were right. You are wasting your time. You should have gone back in time further and fixed the problem. You idiot. Why did you come back now? I'd probably beat the shit out of myself if, like, 20-year-old me.
Can you invent a new one where we imagine a future and then time travel back to now to change now? Is that what you said?
Like, yeah, more or less. Yeah.
I don't know what's going to happen in the future.
I would be so mad. I'd be like, why'd you come back here? Go back further, you idiot.
I guess
Get more time.
I guess you're
What's wrong with
implying,
you?
like, what do we already know we're doing wrong now? Is that what you're saying?
No one's paying attention. The time cube. And then I poop out of existence. Realistically, that's the answer to what Colonel's question is what horrific eldritch horror is going to happen in the next 20 years that we would have to warn each other about. Like, you just, we're sitting here doing this podcast, and I turn, and 20-year-older Toaster pops in and goes, Toaster, you need to worry. You need to worry about it. And I'm like, what? The space manta. And I disappear. Like, what? Like, that's probably what that would play out like.
My immediate reaction was like, man, I kind of weird when I get old. I don't really like that. Like, I just forget about that immediately. I'd completely forget about the space manta and just be like, I don't know, that guy's weird. Why did he come here?
My example wasn't going to be that drastic, but,
What?
Yeah, I was just going to...
I mean, that's a good warning. Yeah, we should probably all be worried about the space manta.
I was just going to give an example that sort of riffs off of the whole skills thing. Is like, what skill I should develop, or something, what would be, of all the things that I know already, that's the sort of example that I would think of. But it's a tricky question.
I think the joke is always, it's like a trolley problem, right? There is no answer that is actually a good answer, because any answer you give is going to culminate in a decision that's going to create regret that you otherwise would want to take a time travel machine to and fix. Like,
are you saying that life is just regret?
Yes. That's why people on their deathbed sit and, like, think about that. That's why people always tell you, like, you don't want to be on your deathbed and think about all the things you didn't do, because life is just regrets. You just focus on the things that you fucked up on, because when things are good, you don't really, those don't stick in your mind. You don't go like, man, things are really good. Ugh, damn, that's just going to stick with me forever.
How do people know that you don't want to be in your deathbed thinking about all the things you didn't do? Maybe that's
because
the
everyone
best
that has been near someone on a deathbed hears them talk about the things they regret not doing. That's
but
just
maybe that's
the
because
annoyance.
that just eases the pain. You're just like,
No,
oh
because-
man, I'm dying. Better think about the things I didn't do. You know.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Unless regrets are the only thing that mattered. Like,
Maybe it makes it better. I don't know. I've never been in my deathbed.
How does being upset before you die matter? That doesn't sound good at all.
You shouldn't
I don't want to
question
be
the
on.
dying.
I don't
They-
want to
they
be
know
on my
better.
deathbed. What?
They know better.
The fuck
I
is
just
happening?
I don't.
Colonel
I don't.
just lives in another reality. It's okay. He went back to
I do
his
not-
homeland in the nega dimension when he left, and we just don't have anything.
That's the thing.
It's only Discord
Being-
now that connects us.
Yeah.
That it literally ties back to the exact thing that Keith started this with, is that the reason that there are a lot of views on negativity is because negativity is a huge focus in life. And negativity is a thing you both want to avoid, but literally by design can never. You will always have negative things in your life, regrets or bad situations, bad jobs, whatever. There's always negatives, and those things.
But focusing on the negatives is very much. It varies from person to person. Like I grew up.
Some people
sort
can
of,
be at peace with negatives, and some people realize that their entire life is nothing but culminations of other people's fucking mistakes making your life miserable, and you are going to suffer under that. Like,
if I could see myself right now, my real answer to this question of like, if a 20-year-old or, you know, a 50-year-old toaster showed up right now in the middle of this podcast, what would he warn me about? Or like, what would I want him to warn me about? I would probably have him tell me not to be on this podcast right now. I think that would be the answer. Like, Toaster,
Toaster
just
says that
stop.
every podcast.
Just
I love
stop.
that. I love that Toaster's going to be on his deathbed, and he's going to be like, every
All the podcasts
podcast
that-
running through his head all
Why
at
did
once.
I do dialogue
Like,
choices? Why did I say yes? Why did I have to wake up before 10 a.m. today?
Perfect. I love it. That is
It's a
the
really
right answer.
bad
We figured it out.
podcast.
It's no, okay, here's the thing. This is what's fun about it, because it's just
I
messy.
don't even know anymore.
I like the mess,
There's-
but you know, I'm just like that.
It's
I
just
just
Most,
baffled
most
that
mornings
people
where it's time for
listen.
dialogue choices, I literally am like, oh fuck. I literally don't have an idea. I don't even know what.
you don't need an idea. That's what makes
We have
it great.
questions.
This is what having
Who starts a
structure really
podcast
helps
when
with.
you literally rant about stuff every day in your normal videos?
And then you go and do the Q&A. It's the questions that keeps us going. People should email them. No, don't
right
email
after
questions.
this, I am going to record probably a Patreon Q&A.
I mean,
See?
the thing, this is what having a podcast with structure helps with. Even if you think it's vapid, like there's a reason why all the good buddies hanging out gaming YouTubers podcasts are like, what you play this week? 10 minutes
Yeah.
for everyone to talk about a game. Here's the news from the week. 3 news points to talk about
Oh
for
my
10
god, I
minutes.
hate
Like,
those podcasts though. They're so
No,
boring.
yeah.
Yeah.
oh, I love them. That's what I wish this was.
No.
Just watch the news.
like I listen
I
to
do
Please
watch
Stop
the news.
Talking a
Watch
lot.
the news.
I listen to Please Stop Talking a lot, and I specifically can't listen to any of their other shows they've made up over the time that all like, this is our gaming show. This is our horror movie show. I'm like, ew. I want the unhinged one. I just want to watch the
Damn.
unhinged one.
See, that's
so
what
I
I'm saying.
just wait for the unhinged one to come back each time. That's just nonsense.
Okay, but
I'm in a prison of my own
understand that.
making.
speaking of the nonsense, though, we should sort of say no. Just say no to anything that has to do with teleportation or time travel. Just no, and then it fixes
Just
the
say no.
nonsense a little bit. We could.
What?
What's the next question?
I mean, that
Keith? Does it
teleportation has
have-
not come up, but I would at this point I would welcome a
Time-
Bird hypothetical. I would love every podcast to open with Bird presenting another teleportation problem hypothetical, which would be a callback to the
That's
fact that
structure.
our first
That's
ever
podcast
episode.
structure, though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
but it's somebody else just coming in with a surprise for me to react to.
And it's too much pressure. He would cave. He would cave.
He
under
would
the
cave
pressure.
immediately. Yeah.
This
but
is where we get
what I need is
our-
our podcast to be a game show.
Yeah, what we need is to change the podcast from dialogue choices to can you solve Bird's mysterious riddles?
Chad asked, this is relevant to the last up. Chat Sleepy Wazzy asks, what are you guys to what are
What?
you guys go to when feeling down?
What do
Wait,
I
what?
do when
I
I
think-
feel down? I take
just-
a Xanax and I try to nap.
I definitely like
Oh.
I glanced at it and I was pretty sure I knew what the question meant, but then when I stopped to actually read it and I read the actual words in order, I'm like, wait, what are
It's a
you guys?
postmodernist-
What are you guys go to when feeling down?
It's
Wait.
a postmodernist question. It's fine.
I don't know. I
do you
dwell in
do
it
to
and
sad?
or take anxiety medication and then sleep. Like it's just like that's what I do.
If I feel down enough, then yeah, that just day is just out. That's it. It's just whoops.
Yep.
Oh,
This
You
game is
don't do anything?
not really. I kind of just
he just said. Days
zone
out.
out and just wait for a better day because apparently I'm in a bad mood that's not going to go away. And it's like a trap where it's like I don't want to. It's like I do my job for a living all day, and it's I make this content, and then I want to make content when I'm not in the mood, when I'm not in a good mood to be able to make content. But then it's like, okay, well now I'm freed up to do all this other stuff that I don't normally do because I'm busy working. But it's like, well, I can't motivate myself to draw if I'm depressed, and like if I feel really down, like I don't want to like go chip away at my backlog of shows that I haven't watched because I feel like I'm going to be wasting and ruining like that content by being in a bad mood when I watch it, and like that'll like I don't want to waste movies by not being receptive to them and stuff like that. So it's like, what do you do at some point? It's like put something repetitive on and like I don't know, do
Mhm.
something grindy and listen to video essays I already know, or like lay down and do nothing.
Mhm.
I don't really have become unsad tricks.
I do.
Cool.
What are they?
Share with the class.
I'm gonna share. It's exercise one, and so that's good because I ride a bicycle, so it's sort of a commitment. Like the further off you go, like you need to come back. You can't just hop out and stuff. Well, I could literally just hop out and take it over back home, but I never do that, right? So that commitment, that sort of going out the door and running away from from your house for a little while, it's sort of freeing. I've always found riding a bicycle very stress relieving. And yeah, I did that particularly last year. The weather was amazing last year. This year has been a mess. I hate it. But last year, while I was grinding Overwatch and getting better. Overwatch is a very depressive game. It's not good for mental health. So mixing it up with exercise is great because grind a little bit of competitive and then you're feeling bummed out. Nah, not a problem. Let's go for 3 hours of or 2 hours, whatever, of a ride, and that helps. That's I definitely do that on purpose.
I'm so happy that helps for you. When I'm in a bad mood, the idea of being warm and sweaty because I exerted myself literally makes me want to drink bleach. Like I could not do that. The idea of being like, I feel bad. I want to make my body hurt. This is a good idea that will make me feel better. I then do exercise, get back home, and then am wide awake for 6 more hours because I did a bunch of exercise. And I'm like, great. Now I just have to be awake for longer, and I'm still sad
sleepy.
about the thing that made me sad.
I get sleepy when I exercise.
Oh, if I exercise like 3 hours before bed, it adds 4 hours to my day. Like I can't. I just would never sleep. I would never sleep.
3 hours before bed is too late. But like if I go on rides at beginning of the afternoon, typically middle of the afternoon at latest, and then at 8 p.m. I'm like, oh, I can't.
I wish I had that kind of time.
Yeah, it's about flexible schedule. The other thing I do is play the guitar. But that does rely on the fact that I have fun because.
Oh, now I got to go back in time and tell myself to pick up a hobby. Great.
Yeah. I definitely music. It's not even playing the guitar; just having fun with music music is so good for, not thinking about whatever you're thinking about, and it doesn't have to be a thing that's bothering you because that's not how depression necessarily works. It can be just the state you're in. But music for me is just it's sort of a mixture of an outlet of emotions, because obviously you can listen to the type of music that you want, and if you want to feel sad, you feel sad, then you listen to Stephen Wilson or something. But if you want to feel happy or whatever, or aggressive, whatever music you like. And I feel that music has always been, for me, has always been a very powerful escapist tool.
I think that's pretty normal. I hear a lot of people use music as a way to kind of, I don't know, control emotions. Like if they're sad, they listen to something that is sad to feel sad.
Yeah. I get that. It doesn't affect me like
Yeah,
that.
no.
I listen to music and I'm like, I like this song, or I don't like this song. Even if I'm like, this song is really affecting and emotional, I'm like, it's affecting and emotional for the person who sang and created this song. Music is nice. That's like my entire extent of enjoying music like that. Like it just doesn't hit me like that. I think, in terms of like, what do I do to make myself not feel sad when I'm sad? Usually if I'm like sad or down, I'm sad or down for a specific reason that like the answer to that question is like, I solve the problem. And if it's something I can't solve, then I just am sad until I forget about the thing. Like that's just it. There's no way to not avoid it, right? I'm very like input output in that way. Sometimes, like, I think the closest thing I have to this is like, if I'm really not in a good mood, I will go into the bathroom and turn off the lights and take a shower in the dark. That's like nice because it's warm and dark. There you go. But then the second that the shower in the dark is over, I leave the room and I'm like, well, back into the cold, hard world, I guess. And I just don't feel good again because the world sucks. Like, right? Like, or whatever problem that existed before I went in there still upsets me. So,
yeah,
I just have to deal with it. That's kind of the answer. The answer to the question is I don't have like a coping mechanism. I just deal with it. I just cope real good. That's it. Just objectively there, off the bottom, off the dome. It's fine.
Yeah.
Toaster's just got a lock in on copium.
Yeah, pretty much. It's just like, all right, well, I can't control this, so I guess my mood right now is just sad. I will do other things while being sad. That's okay.
I feel like the thing that can most successfully pull me out of it is usually just other people, like just spending time with people I like spending time with and stuff. It can like reset me, and also just like kind of like wake me up when I'm like, why? Like when I'm in a sort of like, those days where you just like never start, like. You're just like, why am I still not awake, or I'm still not like, I don't have energy, or like I feel like I can't like do stuff yet. I'm like waiting to like for me to feel normal this morning or whatever. And like for a number of reasons, like I get woken up by people and so on. And I've made great life choices, so I have completely isolated myself in the middle of nowhere from anyone that I've ever known, and am hours and hours away, and that's just not a practical solution. So that's fun.
I did think of one thing that makes me feel better when I'm sad, and it is purchasing things.
Oh no!
Oh no! That's the trap.
I do like spending money. I love money.
No, not consumerism. No,
consumerism is great for my brain.
No.
I have so many Steam games. I have so many Steam games.
Okay, Steam games are not too expensive. Okay, that's not too bad.
It's true. While we were doing stuff when everyone was in town, I opened my phone. I wasn't feeling sad then. This is just a story about consumerism. I opened my phone and Steam was like, games on your wish list are on sale. And so I opened it and like Sega was having a sale, and I just spent $150 on games I've already played, but I was like, I want to support this. Here you go, Sega. Now I own all the Persona games on Steam. Why not? I just own them now. I'll do a Let's Play of them eventually. Why not?
No.
Sure.
I've already fallen for this trap. I have too many games now.
I'm looking at my Steam library. I have 1,931 games. Good for me.
Jesus
quite
Christ.
a lot. I have 700, and that's
probably have way more, honestly.
Keith has like over 2,000, I think.
I forgot how to find the number now because they keep moving. 3,420.
Nice.
But that's because I keep getting like. It's partly because I was subscribed to the Humble Bundle, which I also unsubscribed from because I'm like, what the fuck? I'm never going to play these. and also because I just got
I'm
so
pretty
many
close to
keys for stuff
unsubscribing,
that I
yeah.
will also never play.
Mhm.
But in my early days, I definitely learned the mistake of like Steam sales were like exciting early on. Like, oh my god, all these games are so cheap and they look neat, and I'll probably totally play them. But then like, what broke me of that is I started keeping a spreadsheet of what games I bought, so I could even tell what my like backlog was of stuff I'd bought recently, just so I don't just like forget about it immediately. And then I would just like have a new column for each sale, and I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I buying all these games? So like my policy
Yeah.
these days with video games is I just ignore sales completely all the time. I don't look into any advertising or anything because they're all just ways of getting you to buy more stuff, and because you think you're saving money. When like the real trick is just to only buy a game you're literally about to play right now. So
Even
like,
if it's a full price, you'll still pay less.
yeah,
Yeah.
you literally save hundreds of dollars by just buying games, even if at full price, just right when you're about to play them, and never just aspirationally buying stuff hypothetically to do one day.
Mhm.
Like one of the good
Totally
examples I
agree.
always
Makes
give
sense.
is just the fact that I was planning on playing Miasmata soon TM in like 2011 or whenever the fuck it came out. It's 2024 now, still haven't played it. Just wasted money. Just done. No. Hypothetically,
It's
I'm
just- it's a
supporting a
vintage.
project in that I bought it, but I don't even know if I like the project enough. Like if it was even a good thing to support. Who knows if the game's good or bad? So no, who cares? Waste of money. It's stupid. And you can just spend that money on so much other things. Let's see.
Yeah, I definitely have stopped paying attention.
Jesus
to
Christ, this
sales.
question.
Oh, you have a question?
Halix asks, where did Colonel come from? And then in parentheses, random Portuguese man? Question mark.
What?
Colonel came from the upside down dimension where the world operates differently. He just showed up one day. Andrew built an interdimensional portal, and Colonel just walked out of it.
Where did Colonel come from?
I can explain.
It just reminds me of
I
like,
can
it
explain.
just reminds me of the early question they're like, who is Stephanie? And it's like, she's Stephanie.
Yeah,
What the fuck do you mean? I don't understand the question.
yeah, exactly.
And it's like, I guess you expect me to say that she's like an Instagram model, or that she's like
Yeah.
a super famous YouTuber that you just haven't noticed it, or something. She's Stephanie. That's it.
Mhm.
She's just a roommate. That's
yeah.
what they want to know: is she someone's girlfriend, or is she a roommate? Is she your
Or-
sister?
Yes. Yeah.
For a little while,
That
I
is
tried,
always
I tried to spread the rumor that she was actually Keith's daughter, but they didn't pick up. People don't pay attention.
What?
Yeah, that's
would
what
that
I'm
even-
saying. They didn't pick
What
up.
the
No,
How
I
would that even work?
This
Where-
thing I didn't try to do didn't pick up. It's
When
fine.
did
I
you
did
even
try to
do
do
it?
one
When
person
did you even
myself
try to do
on this
that?
podcast
The fuck
right
are you
now.
talking about?
You can definitely see that if you go up on Discord, you'll see me talk about it. But either way,
No,
What? Just spreading misinformation.
I think it's a reasonable amount of misinformation to spread, considering it's absurd.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah, because isn't it
Interesting.
absurd? Because age
I don't-
thing.
I mean, people don't know ages by voice, so who knows?
Oh, that's true. Okay, well, it was absurd to me. That's why. That's where I was coming from.
Huh?
Nobody. I'm telling you, nobody noticed. I'm terrible. Like the honey cakes got off the ground.
No,
so-
it didn't.
Dang it.
Only I noticed.
Well,
No one
Anyway.
knows. Every time you reference honey cakes, no one gets it. No one
Yeah,
in the
I have no
audience
idea
and no
what is being
co-host.
talked
It
about.
exclusively is something that I noticed because you were saying it
I
at
get it's from the
me
D&D.
every time.
that's fair.
It literally was a whole joke in D&D that also only I got. You made it part of
didn't-
your character, and no one knew what the fuck was happening.
That
It was
is
just
true. I did
a
not
side
know.
quest.
It
That
killed
ended up
him.
getting yourself killed. What do you mean?
So where did Colonel come from?
So the
That's the
Portuguese
answer.
thing, it's incidental. The Portuguese people are.
Really? No way.
Oh.
You happen to be Portuguese? Holy crap! I had no
That's
idea.
crazy.
It wasn't on purpose.
Portuguese thing is
Oh.
incidental.
Yeah. I mean, you'll find Portuguese people everywhere, or at least Portuguese people of Portuguese descent, but not necessarily either way, I found Keith, or I first played with Keith because Bumpy McSquigums, who I had found before, thanks to Splattercat, actually. Bumpy McSquigums was collaborating with me, and he said, "Hey, do you want to play Viking Lords, or what's the name of the game?
Viking Squad, right?
Viking Squad. That's the one. Do you want to play Viking Squad with Keith Ballard?" And I'm like, "Hell yeah, I want to play Viking Squad with Keith Ballard." And I had known about Keith because of his Wasteland 2 playthrough. I think so.
That one's still like my biggest video ever, besides the video essays now, like because it got shared by Brian Fargo.
Oh yeah, that's true. You mentioned it. Yep.
And I don't even like his games.
Wow.
And then we did an interesting 3-episode or 4-episode let's play of Viking Squad.
That was an interesting experience because my approach to multiplayer was just to record everything and then figure it out later. But you guys were trying to like live cut at the episodes by literally doing intros and outros every like 20 minutes and then cutting. And I was like, this is different.
Yeah, I'm not sure it was the best approach considering it was multiplayer. We should have just acquiesced. But either way, I stuck around because the Discord channels, and then Keith was like, "Hey, does anybody want to play?" And I'm like, "Yes, please, it's me." I don't remember what we did next though.
Oh, it was literally years.
It wasn't years. Was it years?
Yes. No, it was ages.
Yeah.
Because what happened is I got my start playing. Well, I did stuff with Andrew for years, obviously, but then like about 2 years in, Andrew moved, so I was like, sunk cost fallacy. I've been in the game for too long, even though no one's watching, and it hasn't been that long yet. So I launched my solo channel, which is just my old channel. I'd registered since 2006, the same one I had my like guitar videos on that were all enlisted now, I just like started off with Outlast specifically because it was a game that Andrew hated and like we could not get through recording it, so I did myself later. Then did Demon Souls, and I was like,
it's a bad game.
And like Demon Souls, Dark Souls, and I was like, okay, these RPGs do kind of well. I'll follow that process and go from there. So I kept playing like various like indie RPG type stuff that was coming out on Steam, like not entirely indie, but like Bound by Flame. Then you had like stuff like the first person dungeon crawlery type things and Grimrock 2 and so on. And every time I looked up playthroughs of any of the games I was covering, every single time the two people that would always be the people who covered these obscure indie RPGs were Bumpy McSquigums and Colonel RPG. So I was just like background, like familiar with their names. And I don't remember what led to the approach, but I guess at some point I just decided to like reach out to Bumpy to randomly do a collaboration on a thing. Maybe? I don't remember. I don't remember who reached out to who. It sounds out of character that I would have reached out to somebody, but maybe I did. Maybe he did. I think I remember it being that it was him first, and then you were added in. I'm like, oh, I also know who that is. You know each other, okay. And so we played, of all things, Viking Squad, which isn't any of our wheelhouse, so it's a weird choice of game. But it was, but we did it because it was a reasonable, like, experimental thing. Because it's like a short multiplayer thing you can just hop into, as opposed to the idea of like committing to a long RPG with near strangers. I think I basically never talked to Bumpy again. Years and years later, he briefly joined us for like Among Us or something.
Correct. Yes, I remember that.
But we haven't really maintained any contact. And then this is the thing that this will like fucking wake up a memory of yours, is that at one point you sent me a message asking about like collaborating more and like being like being like basically online friends and stuff. And at the time, I think I was working my job and trying to become a full-time YouTuber, and I had an existing built-in multiplayer group that was like the previous generation of people before this Discord. And I basically sent you like a really fucking long letter explaining thoroughly all the reasons why we basically can't hang out. Because for some reason
that wasn't my takeaway, but it was. I remember that very, very.
Yeah, like for some reason it was like that. My idea of it's like I have this like neurodivergent need to be understood, so I just over explain these concepts in ways that are probably exhausting. And then it's like, here's the like a lot of my retro streams are like this. We're like, here's the fucking entire context and scenario around this, and of like why I'm busy or why this is going on or why I don't think that there's anywhere to fit this and so on. Which was for the best because I spared you that group dynamic.
I did actually take place or participate in a couple of podcasts. I remember, and I think it was right around that time where that letter that you were talking about happened. But yeah, I did have a couple of podcasts with the other group.
Yeah, like back then I was like, I have no idea how the fuck. It's like I don't have time to add collaborators essentially, like as in like to be like doing other shows with other people because I was losing my mind a bit with how busy I was. But then years later, we'd made the new group with Bird and a few other people and Andrew, and I think I added you to that or something. And then
around.
And it just kind of coalesced in this new, bigger, messier group that we've got now. You really do just make Discords and add people to them. The funny thing is, like, I swear I'm in like, it's funny because like everyone wants to have a gaming channel, and everyone wants to stream with their friends. So like I'm in like 15 Discords that some person, mostly furries, made to like stream with their friends. They're totally going to do a show and so on. None of them ever do anything. This is like the one Discord that has like an organized thing, and it's barely organized, but like we do the fucking like Friday and Saturday like big tag everybody vote with emojis or whatever, what game you want to play tonight. We're all meeting at 7, and like it's like structured in a way that is just loose enough that it can do anything, but like consistent enough that stuff actually happens. Because like I've never seen a functioning gaming Discord for streamers before. Obviously they happen because there's way more successful streamers than us that like organize stuff all the time. But I'm just like, it's just extremely funny
like
because I'm like,
YouTuber,
it's just I'm just amused by the fact that I'm in like 20 of these Discords that are just immediately vestigial. They're immediately useless. And like
that's why they go in the folder. Don't you have a folder?
Yep, I have a folder.
Oh, the folder. Actually,
my Discord is just like, here's like 7 icons that I actually click on, and then there's just the folder, and the folder contains like 30 more Discords where I'll politely not leave this thing, but it's going to go in the folder and be muted. So I'll only ever look at it again if somebody literally ats me from it.
I have like
multiple.
my 4 Discords that I normally hang out in and talk in on my top. And then I have I have a folder called planning, which just is 4 Discords that actively ping me for important planning events, like the Keith's planning Discord that he's talking about here. And then I have a folder called abandoned, where I put servers that I don't like to actually look at. And it's just an attempt to not look at them. Where it's muted, and ats are muted as well, and like is all in there.
You're just like politely there so that people don't notice you're gone or something.
Yeah, and I mean, in that one also is like an attempt to just like stop my own ADHD brain from opening them. It doesn't really work because Keith Cord is in there, and I use that all the time. But you know, it slowly is getting better.
Leave my Discord. Never look at it again.
I am terrified that you're
literally in there all the time.
Discord. Yeah, I'm terrified that's not one of your 4. The
It's
fact
not
that
one of
that's
my
not
4.
That's fucking terrifying. What
My
do you
4
mean? Why?
main Discords are a secret Discord. It is a community Discord that is on the public internet, but I won't name it because I don't want people to find it, where I hang out with my internet friends of the past 15 years. But I will say that server is related to movies, and we talk about movies and TV shows there. And that server has like 700 people, but like it's just like a group of like 15 regulars. We actually have like a secret regulars chat that we just talk in that only has like 15 cool people
Discord
in it.
within the Discord.
because this
Yeah.
Discord was like affiliated with like our subreddit at one point, and so like it has like an open invitation. But
r/b stars. Boom. The origin story.
is-
It all makes sense now.
it is not that one. It is a niche specific film type Discord. But those are my internet friends that I've been friends with for like 15 years, and they're 10 years now, I think, actually. They're fucking cool. And then, but I keep them secret because they're my internet. That's like the actual place that I hang out that I don't
Yes.
want people to find
Yeah.
out. Then there's my Discord, which I only keep in my top 4 so that I can open it and click my stream alerts tab and put out my stream alerts on so I don't forget. Then underneath that is Null playing games, which I need to be out of a folder so I don't miss pings on it. And then this server that we're hosting the podcast in right now. Those are my top 4 that I pay attention to. And then every other server is buried in some subfolder somewhere, including my servers for my real life friends, because they don't use Discord like internet people do. So I just like don't need them active. Those are my top 4. Those are the 4 Discords that I care about. And then the rest are just buried in folders in an attempt to not pay attention to them.
It's fair enough.
Well then.
That's how Discord is. I get the impression that everybody does it like that because it's impossible otherwise.
You would be
Sure.
shocked
We'll go with
how
that.
many people don't even mute servers that they join.
I believe that. People
Well,
are
I don't
insane
mute.
people.
Yeah, I don't mute them either.
That's
'Cause-
crazy. How many notifications do you get? How can you
I
exist?
don't get notifications.
Yeah,
don't
that's the
use them at
thing.
all.
Most people don't turn
So
those
you
off.
just-
Turning those off
Yes, you
is
just
muting a
turned off-
Discord.
No. In the sense that if you ping me off, or if you talk to me in any Discord, I won't get notified.
Yeah, so sure, you have notifications turned off. You have muted your Discord.
Yeah. Okay, I see.
So, but the thing is that like there are people, this is actually a huge pet peeve of mine, is when you're in a big server and you're having an ongoing conversation with someone and people are like, oh my God, it's been like 300 messages in here. Yeah, bitch. Because it's a fucking chat server. What do you think
Yeah.
is going on
Yeah,
here? People are
exactly.
talking. Like, and the thing is because people get irritated about that, because if you don't mute Discords and you're in a bunch of them, you will get constant pings and notifications just from people chatting. So whenever I join a Discord, the first thing I do is immediately mute every single channel in the Discord. And then I go to the universal Discord settings for that server and I right click it and I say, mute server until I turn it back on. Because I do not want any of that happening. And then I treat Discord as completely ephemeral. So the only time I ever get notifications is if someone ats me specifically in a few servers that I have deemed important enough to actually notify me.
Yeah, like I
That's how you should use
get
Discord.
Discord notifications when somebody DMs me, basically, or when anyone talks in this server or the Null playing game server. Because there are 2 servers where a small cast of people are trying to make things.
You get a phone notification when
Yeah.
we talk in this?
Yes.
Oh. Isn't that? Oh,
No one talks in
isn't
here.
that?
Yeah, I
mean
know.
no one
That's
talks
been
in
changing more recently. I would still mute certain channels for sure in this Discord. In fact, I do have certain channels muted in this server. Our planning Discord, I have
do as well,
General
yeah.
muted, Art I guess muted, Lethal Company and Overwatch muted. I have Final Fantasy
Yeah.
14 muted
Sure.
and
Oh, okay.
voice chat.
Sure.
It's my server, so obviously, besides art, I guess, they are all things that I do.
Yeah.
So every individual channel is a thing that I'm organizing in some way.
Mm-hmm.
What I need is another monitor so I can then
You do.
fit it on
Everybody.
the screen.
Everybody
Keith
should have
just
another
needs
monitor.
to get more screen resolution. He should get an ultra. He should do what I
I
do.
recently
and have
opened
a
up the Amazon
42-inch
page
TV.
for that one mega screen, the big square screen that's like the 16 by 9
dual-up?
stacked on each other. And I was
Yeah.
like, I keep considering it's funny that I'll balk at the idea of spending a few $100s on an upgrade for my actual office, but I'll then just turn around and spend that on a werewolf art and not even like question it.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I had that exact thought, so I opened the Amazon page and I'm like, this product's unavailable. It's sold out. I'm like,
The dual up has been
in my
out of
defense,
production for a
my
while.
bank was very small.
They do have them in stock right now, though. You can get the 28-inch dual up for $596, Prime one-day
think-
delivery.
I have
Wow.
I did have
I
to
have
wait.
a-
I had to wait for money to come back because I accidentally spent a lot of my bank account in a way where I don't lose the money, but I'd lose the money because I accidentally double paid my taxes, and I was
Oh.
like, oh fuck.
Why would? Is
Time
there
to
a benefit to that?
No, you just have to awkwardly wait for your tax return to give it back next year.
Yeah.
Oh,
I technically haven't lost
he
that
lo-
money.
he-
It's
he-
just not here.
He just did a very bad loan, which is he's not going to get a very
right
good
interest
interest rate
rate,
from
yeah.
the government.
Yeah, I'm just not very organized. What happens is I have a really bad system of being like, because I have to pay estimated tax 4 times a year as a self-employed person in the United States. I just have a text document where I just write down how much I owe the calculated amount this year that I'm supposed to pay each quarter to the federal government and the state government, and then I have a date written on it that says the last time I paid it, and that's how I verify whether or not I
forgot
paid it.
to save the document.
No, it's less dumb than that, but still dumb.
Okay, that's not too bad.
What happened is last year I forgot to pay my taxes one of the quarters, so I then was like, oh god, oh fuck, and just paid twice as much the next quarter, which seemed to be fine. But it meant that like I had the realization that like I had to pay so much more than I thought I did that quarter because I forgot last time, and so it's like a giant payment, and that's kind of startling in its own way. This year, I opened my document midway through the year and saw the same thing. Like I saw, oh god, I haven't paid it since the beginning of the year. What? Did I make the same mistake in the same month again and just not pay in April again? So I paid double taxes, and then remembered what happened is that I then later found a big charge on my bank account that I couldn't identify, and so I spent time asking. I literally called up my bank and asked them to verify, like, what is this charge? Is it what it says it is, and so on, because I was trying to figure out what's going on. And I couldn't get an answer, so it was really frustrating. Only weeks later do I finally realize that, like, oh, I told my tax guy to sign me up for automatic payments. So I believe I've quadruple paid my taxes.
Good job.
Because I thought I missed a quarter, so I double paid, but it turned out that was set to automatic, but I'd forgotten. So not only had the last quarter been paid already, this quarter was also being paid. So it was all fine.
Yeah.
But I thought I was having a crisis. So
Yeah.
listen, it's a hell of a life trying to run several channels at once, and also this shit, and trying
I think
to
most people
function as a
don't
person.
understand. Most people don't understand that like business, like running a personal business, is not.
No, there's a billion
it's-
bonus tasks that just manifest
Yeah,
over
it's
the course
not.
of everything. Like people
I
just
feel
see
like
me
most
playing
people
video
don't
games and
understand
like he
scope.
just plays video games and gets paid. It's like, and then there's like
No.
there's an escalating like galaxy brain chart of you realizing, or like the iceberg of like what that actually is, because like a slightly more informed person will be like, oh, but he's also got to edit the videos afterwards, and then another person's like, oh, he's got to import and render the videos surrounding the editing. Then the next person's like, oh, he's got to make all the thumbnails and he's got to upload the videos, and oh, he's got to do the descriptions and he's got to try to do like market research and try to understand what his audience wants. Oh, he's got to do the second layer of like his Patreon's version of the videos and keep his Patreon happy in order for all this to work. Oh, he's got to find time to work on his video scripts so he can work on his other channel with the high effort content that takes months and months to produce and hundreds of hours per video. Oh, he's got a tabletop RPG channel where he's got to upload the videos for that one and make those thumbnails. Oh, he's got to pay taxes and get medical insurance and functions, and you're like, oh wait, hang on a minute, there's a billion things happening here, and increasingly it's like some of that stuff is like on top of the giant iceberg of shit that YouTubers actually have to do besides the part you see them doing that seems effortless because their job is to look like they're having a good time. There's just the part where like, oh, if you don't have a normal boss at a normal job, it's like way more work to just be a human in America, because you have to do so much shit manually and separately and more expensively, and also no one tells you most of it. So you find out the hard way that half of it even wasn't happening in the first place, because you're figuring out like your medical insurance and your fucking car payments and all the other shit that's happening. You're like, oh right, quarterly taxes. quarterly taxes that are estimated because you don't know your income, because your income's based on the random results of your whatever happens that month with Patreon and YouTube and Fourth Wall and Splango. And then you're
That's
like,
also
and then you just find out at the end of the year whether or not you over or underpaid your taxes because you don't even know how much you're going to make each year, and you don't even know what tax bracket you'll be in each time. And maybe, just maybe, your income changes brackets every year, and you keep losing and gaining medical insurance over and over again, and your hospital changes every 8 months, and then you have to find out who your doctor is every time you think you're dying. And you don't know how to look it up because you can't just Google who is my doctor. So you got to like fucking Jesus Christ, which insurance am I on this year? Is it even working? How do I tell if it's working? Or am I gonna go into the doctor in intensive care about this feeling in my head and then like have a surprise $20,000 payment because I was wrong about how medical works because it changes every year?
yeah.
What if I'm wrong and then I ruin my life?
So for audience members who don't
Keep
feel
your
like their
cubicle
dad just
job.
gave them a lecture,
Keep your cubicle job with your
you'll
normal boss, and you're automatically deducted taxes.
It's just the thing is
Especially-
that you have to do a lot of things, right? You have to wear a lot of hats when you are your own employer, when you own your own source of income, essentially. But I would also say that there is normally a trajectory one should be taking as well. I think there should be the hard part is that what is it? The amount of things needed to be the amount of things needed to be made in order to make enough to facilitate one avenue of source of income. Like the amount of work that needs to go into making a Let's Play channel exist requires you to make two other completely different channels. And it's like, okay, well, at some point, the decision, right, is either we Let's Plays just aren't a thing. It's economically an unviable thing, just like selling a product that no one buys anymore. And then it's better to just do something else that makes more money, right? Make reactionary content, make whatever the hell is that's making the most money. And then that way, that makes enough money that you can hire people to do the other shit that's taking all of your time so that you can make make money to make the thing you want to make, which is like, now we've just made business again. This is the essential building blocks of business. Is that in order to do the thing you want to do, you need a lot of people to help you do that thing. And to get those people, you need to have money. And the only way to get money is by having a steady source of income, which you can only gain through doing something that's profitable in the moment. It's very fun. It's very great. Life is fun. But also, what video games do you guys play recently?
No.
The Stardew Valley released the 1.6 thing.
1.6. Wait, what are we just middle of games?
You asked what
You just asked such a dangerous question.
I'm free from Wukong prison. I haven't played any other video games since then. It's been so long. I played the Metaphor ReFantasio demo, and it's really good. If people like Persona games, you should look into that. For some reason, people are saying they haven't heard of this game, but Atlas has been advertising the fact that they've been working on a fantasy RPG by the Persona team for the past 4 years. So if you like RPGs, go check that out. It's actually pretty good and really cool and has really cool art. It has demons designs based on fucking Hieronymus Bosch paintings. It's fucking sick.
What a nightmare really cool title. Jesus.
It's in Esperanto.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. It's
Metaphor
a cool game.
Also
Metaphors in Esperanto?
No, ReFantasio is Esperanto for ReFantasy, which was the name of the project that Atlas was working on. They've been advertising it for probably since like probably 2017. Let me check when it first got announced.
I have not seen a single thing about this.
The Japanese game game developer urged to put Re on in front of every word. Re Final Fantasy.
It's good. It's a cool game.
They make very visually striking games.
They do.
I'm still mad at Atlas.
Yeah.
They are assholes.
Okay. So that's what Toaster's playing next, I guess.
That is what I will be playing. It's coming out in the middle of October.
My
which
two
sucks for me
primary,
because
yeah.
that's my Castlevania month. So, but they put out a demo, and I'm 12 hours into the demo. So,
Oh, I saw you mentioned. Yeah,
yeah. So
There's
it's really
12
fucking
hours
long.
of demo.
old
Yeah.
school kind of demo. Let's go.
Yeah, it's
my
literally just
God.
play the prologue of the game, like, and then once you finish the prologue, it's like you have 3 in-game days to do whatever you want because it's like Persona, so it like has a day time
Yeah.
management aspect to it, except it's a fantasy RPG instead of a school life RPG. And so yeah, you just get 3 days at the end of the opening, the first chapter of the game, where it's just like you can play now. You have 3 days to do it, and I'm 10 hours in. So
I just have such an adversarial relationship with Atlas at this point because it's like
they're pretty
They
good.
just-
They have like very easily understood streaming rules that you're allowed to stream all of Metaphor, all the Persona games, everything you want
Yeah,
now.
that was such a
as long as
deeply
you just put in
frustrating
the
thing.
description spoilers. This game contains spoilers, which is a
The
silly
description.
It's stupid
Nobody
'cause
reads
you're-
the description.
it's stupid as a
It-
concept because you're literally watching a video about the game being played in chronological order. So obviously every second of that is more spoilers in chronological order of what the game contains, which is what all linear media is.
thing. Yeah,
You could
Yep.
just
I'm not
add,
liking this.
But like
ad.
my
This video
exposure,
has
because
spoilers
for
to every
background,
Let's Play.
my exposure to Atlas, besides the fact that they published Demon Souls, which is like their one good thing that in my life, was that I played Tokyo Mirage Sessions, Tokyo Mirage Sessions Sharp FE. What a horrible title! And it was just like I already didn't like JRPGs, and that was like the worst one I've ever played. It was just actually trash. Like the story is bad. It has really cool visuals and like, wow, look at these, like they use 3D animation for these music videos that looks almost convincingly 2D and like the good tech there. But the whole entire story and combat was trash. The combat was like press one button and 40 seconds of cutscenes play, but not in the Final Fantasy X way where you're summoning an Aeon for a super attack. It was just you successfully used the weakness, the element weakness of an enemy, which we told you and highlighted, told you to do it in the first place. Thanks, good job. Now your entire team all attacks in sequence as a combo because you hit their elemental weakness, and some of them trigger music videos mid combo, and then that does a team attack, and you're like, oh, why is an entire chain reaction of pachinko nonsense happening all back to back when I pressed one button and it was just what the button the game told me to do? And this game wants you to grind between bosses. Like there's parts where it wants you to grind to level up, which means you just have to repetitively do the most time-consuming combat ever devised by man. That it wasn't like playing Twilight Imperium. But the story is trash. It was just honestly just all irredeemable game, and people like it, and it's one of the games where I just judge people that like it. But then I was like, okay,
So it's
well,
just like, I love this game.
that was
I
a
do.
no,
dud.
I don't like that game. I don't think
no.
Tokyo Mirage Sessions is cool. I mean,
It's
I
very
think that the
bad.
mechanics that Keith is complaining about are just turn-based JRPG combat, but
Yeah, but they made it
rest
as
of that game
annoying
is
as
bad as
possible
well.
compared to other JRPG combat.
yeah.
It made me beg for going back to I Am Setsuna, where you click on a guy and your guy just goes, ha! All right, next guy. Because fucking TMS was like, would you like 40 seconds of cutscenes? Like, why are you
Yeah.
doing this? And only some of them have skip buttons. Only every now and then does an attack have a skip button, which is when it triggers literally a music video that will play for an entire minute if you don't stop it, which is itself cursed. But I was like, okay, that was a dud. But everyone promises me that Persona is great, so I guess I'll risk this again. And every time I try another JRPG, and especially an Atlas one, it's like, are you ready for 100 hours? I hope you're ready
Yeah.
to be locked in for the most nightmarishly long game. Hope you like it, because otherwise you're stuck in a prison of your own making. So that's like the background anxiety. But then Atlas just is like, hey, if you play our game, we're going to delete your channel. We're just going to nuke your channel from orbit. Going to kill you. Going to kill your life and your living. Fuck you. And
Well, the
like that.
the
So
good
that,
news is they don't do that anymore, at the very least.
But what was deeply frustrating is that the fact that I started the playthrough and then that news came out after the first episodes were out meant that like now I have to cancel the series. But now the fans are mad at me because I'm essentially bad-mouthing Atlas by just pointing out the fact that I can't stream their game because they said I can't. It was like somehow it's my fault. But then they did the most annoying thing they could have ever done, which is that they revised their rules. And so now every month to this day, someone tells me that actually you can stream Persona 5 because they changed the rules and said you can. But they didn't, because the new rules still say not to stream the whole game, and they never apologize for the past thing or even acknowledge that they said it. Like they're like, we're sorry that anyone ever thought anything bad, but also we're still saying you can't do it, and we're also we're dishonestly not acknowledging what we said the first time. It was the most like YouTuber apology ass garbage. And to this day, the stream guidelines for that game still basically say that you can't actually stream the whole game. So I get deeply annoyed by the fact that like every time that somebody comes at me, they don't have reading comprehension. I point them at the page that they're telling me is the update, and I'm like, read it. It says I can't play it.
I am reading that page right now, and they did update it. It says that you're allowed to stream it as long as you have a spoiler warning in the video title or description.
That might be new, but it was for literally years. I kept going back to it, and the second version of it was like they literally didn't change the rules; they just moved the date. So it still was like you can't. It was still like you can't play past August or whatever. I'm like, cool, I'm not playing your game then.
Yeah, this is just updated for I think probably the PC release of Persona 5, which came out
which at this point it's been like a decade since that game came out.
Well, this is Persona 5 Royal, which came out in 2022.
Yeah, but just for years and years and years and years, I just got the most annoying fucking comments about that game. So it just makes me have a fucking like negative gut reaction to the Atlas's logo at this point. I just their audience pissed me off so much. Because they couldn't read. They couldn't read and were blaming me for their company being bad.
I agree. They shouldn't have done that, and it was bad. But Atlas games are safe to stream now. They've turned around and really embraced it because the word of mouth on their PC sales is fucking huge. Even though they were like really vehemently against releasing things on PC for a really long time. So now they want that PC money. So they're like, yes, please stream our games, play our games, please.
Slowly, every Japanese company is realizing that they've been huge jackasses online for the last decade.
Yeah, except Nintendo, who still continues to be the worst company known to fucking man. I will never stream a Nintendo game for that reason.
But Nintendo did stop the
them.
annoying ass YouTube policy they had before, because I remember I remember being in Breath of the Wild, and I had to manually submit every single video to the Nintendo program for manual approval for every
that's
single
insanity. The problem is now they're copyright striking people who have footage of their games through emulators or through other emulator devices, even if they didn't pirate the games, even if they literally pulled them from their own cartridges. So fuck Nintendo, big time. Don't stream or upload Nintendo games. It's very, very dangerous for your channel.
It is frustrating.
Yeah. I've never had any problems.
There's a lot of companies like that. Well, it's like I'm also like I've been doing all the Yakuza games, but I'm also like continually worried about covering Sega, because when Shining Force happened, they literally just nuked several channels out of existence.
Yeah. Sega is definitely. I was gonna say I'm definitely a one strike kind of person in this regard. Company does something shitty once, I'm never doing anything about them again.
It would simplify. It would certainly simplify my to-do list.
Yeah, but obviously I don't. My livelihood doesn't depend on my channel, so I'm taking the low road. Which one is it? I'm speaking from a place of freaking English and its idioms. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's why I don't cover fucking Switch games. Other than also Switch games just performing like dog shit, and I don't want to put up with that because my main gaming monitor is a 4K TV for a 720p console that doesn't even hit that regularly. Like, no thanks.
My Switch is trying to kill itself.
Yeah, I saw that you were posting about how Echoes of Wisdom is killing your Switch.
Yeah, my Switch has been making a fan noise for like ages, so I think it's just a shitty console that's dying, and if it was a PC, you'd repair it, but it's a Switch, so it's like congratulations, you voided your warranty, and also the thing probably just explodes if you try to open it.
Mm-hmm. Wait, you don't have
WD-40 that shit. You're fine.
But I bought a radiator.
No, what?
We'll see if that helps into the next session. It's you can get you can get like a external fan on Amazon for like $15 that like will just suction onto the cooling vent of the Switch and do like 6,000 RPM or something. You're like, let's see
No,
if
not
this.
6,000. That's too much. What?
It's like let's
Oh,
just
no.
see if this cools this fucker off. Because yeah, I hunkered down to do like a 6-hour stream of Echoes of Wisdom to get my quota done of like how much I think I feel it I need to provide to do my diligence for Patreon to have their like the next like week or so of early access prepped at launch. And like 4.5 hours in, my entire Switch just like turns off from overheating. Like it just literally tells you like the Switch is getting too hot. Well, now enter rest mode, and I'm like, oh. Well, everybody, stream canceled. See you guys. There's nothing I can do right now. Console's dead. And I was like, okay, well, I guess I can only do like a couple episodes at a time or something, or who knows. The next session, 2.5 hours in, it dies. I'm like, uh-huh. So I was looking into like, I was like, I'm just gonna try this fan thing, I guess, because the alternative is likely to get another Switch. Because trying to send it in for Nintendo or something like that would be like, who knows? First of all, who knows how much that costs, whether or not they even do a good job or whatever. But also, it's like that's so much downtime for a series I just started, or like I'm trying to do my job right now, and so like my problem solving goes out the window half the time because I just like everything collapses in favor of just like I need to make the next video now, and I can't technically. Who cares? I could just cancel a series for a month and come back. And it wouldn't actually matter that much, but like I just have a system where I consistently do things on schedule and keep them going and so on. Because like, just because for a number of reasons, like I try not to like have series end suddenly. So like one part of that is that I try not to ever have gaps or ever make it like up to my discretion when something happens, because that'll just lead to stuff falling by the wayside in favor of other things and so on. And then I just never get back. Oh, it's been 6 months. Oops, it's been 3 years. Oops, Lisa the Painful RPG never got back to that because Stephanie and I went off to do Astro and Echo, and now it's been so long that I don't know where I was in the Lisa the Painful, the Joyful expansion, and it just never got finished. Like the moment it's up to my own discretion and all the complexity and mess of all the games and things are happening, it can easily just get put off more and more and more until it's been 5 years. So I just try to keep things really consistent. But that means that when the console just shits itself after I've already started a series, I'm like, no, no, you fucker. I need you to work right now. This was its own headache because I had to get my Elgato to work again because I forgot where like even how to set it up half the time, or like how to like confirm it's recording or get the PC to acknowledge it, and or how to even troubleshoot it if it doesn't do that, because I haven't recorded a single console game in literally years. They're just sitting over there in a pile of consoles that are hanging out, but like consoles are so useless. You so rarely actually need one because there's almost never console exclusives anymore. It's basically just being forced to do it.
Are you sure? Well, the PS5 has a bunch of console exclusives.
I don't care about them, I guess, is the problem.
Yes, most of them.
It's like, it's another cinematic third-person open-world platforming. Okay, cool.
And there's the new
I hear
robot.
Astrobot is good. It looks...
That's the one.
I
It
hate
looks so good.
it.
Oh, Astro was
really?
great.
It's not a quality
Wow, how'd you say
judgment.
that?
I look at it and I'm like, ugh.
Oh, weird.
wow.
You have no soul or love in your heart.
That is true.
Yeah, what is wrong
don't-
with you?
I guess I just don't like Wall-E or something.
Yeah.
The
Oh
little
my
robots.
god, you don't like Wall-E?
I like Wall-E more, but I look at every
little bit
visual
of
moment of Astrobot and I'm like, I don't like any of these things. I don't like looking at these things. I don't really want to be that guy. I just don't want to play him. Like I don't want to play the Astrobot. I don't like the aesthetic.
I'm struggling so hard right
I don't
now
like
because
the
Astrobot.
aesthetic of the Astrobot
like-
tified characters
Oh,
and some
man.
of the
Everything, yeah.
cameos. It's not charming to me. It's like
Astrobot's like
this
the
is
only
most-
thing that makes the PlayStation look like an actual worthwhile investment.
I'm sure it's
Yeah.
good.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
like it. I don't like I don't want to play it.
I can't believe it. I can't believe it. This
can't,
is
yeah.
crazy.
That's great. That's
You live in a upside down world. Astrobot's
It's fine.
fantastic. It's really cool, and it's
sure it's
the best
neat.
platformer that's been put out in
It looks
years.
like
and
Knack.
also it's No, it does
What
not.
the fuck is wrong
It
with you?
does
Shut
not
the
look
fuck
like-
up. Stop
Yeah.
talking. Why do you
doesn't-
keep saying
It
shit?
does not
What are you
literally.
talking about?
It does not literally look like Knack. It has in my brain. I just see it, and it has that same vibe of like, oh,
What?
it's
Knack was, like,
another like
literal-
soulless looking Sony platformy product thing.
Bro.
You are
And it makes
crazy.
me-
Come on.
You-
It makes me
Actually-
it makes me miss like Jack and Ratchet and Crash
need-
and so on.
You need. You
Where I'm like, I like these
desperately need
guys.
help.
Yay.
Someone send Keith help.
No, I know
Someone-
this isn't
you
a
can
real quality
find-
judgment of the game. I'm conscious of that. I'm just saying that I look at it and it does not make me want to play
Yes,
it.
and I'm saying your eyeballs need to be checked. Astrobot's cute and fun and very visually readable, and Knack is puke on the screen. What are you talking
Because
about?
Knack is so garbage that it's a joke. I know, but I know that yeah.
This is becoming I feel like
know?
Andrew and I don't even like platformers, and I'm sitting
Yeah.
here like, wow, Astrobot is so cute and beautiful and charming and full of love and
No.
animation, and it's what everyone should strive to be. This is a return to form for the PlayStation. And Andrew, who plays fucking Mario on his channel, is like, yeah, this game's really good. And
Yeah.
you, the guy
And me
who
who
should
don't
like
play
3D
platformer.
platformers, is like, I don't know, Astrobot looks soulless. It's like,
Yeah.
what? What are you talking about?
These are all true.
I.
What
Yeah.
are you talking about?
And yeah, I
What-
specifically like 3D platformers and like the Banjo-Kazooie model and like go let's go do stuff and things. But like
That's what
yeah,
Astrobot is.
yeah,
That's
but it looks bad.
No, it doesn't. It looks
And
gorgeous.
it looks
beautiful,
good.
fun.
It looks good, but it looks bad.
I. Okay.
It just
You
it
can
looks
find you could
like, I
you can,
look
you
at
can
it
find Keith
and
at
I-
Sebastian
I just
SB
like
on Twitter.
no,
You
you're not
can
listening to
devastate
me.
him.
People
Send
aren't
him
listening.
everything.
The audience is smarter than you, so they'll get it. They get it. They get what I mean.
No,
There's
Is the
like
audience getting it? No.
yeah, well they get what I mean. They don't have to agree with me. But I'm just
They
like it's like
won't, because
no, they
Astrobot is
won't.
fucking
No,
good.
I know they won't because they're awful. They're always awful. It's so it sucks to read the comment section of the series. But no, it's like Astro. I'm sure it's great. It looks like a good video game. It doesn't appeal to me even a little bit. Like I hate
Why?
looking at it.
Why doesn't it appeal to what do
That's
you
the
not like about it
question. We
visually?
understood
What
you're
visually?
talking about
Yeah.
it not
Yeah.
appealing to you, but my question is,
It's
how
just
does it not
aesthetic.
appeal to you?
It's just
What
aesthetic.
doesn't appeal?
I don't
Color?
want-
You
Summarizing
want it to look
aesthetic
like
is
shit?
exhausting. Summarizing the entire aesthetic just sounds exhausting. Like what the fuck?
Okay, I'm gonna rewind this back to the
Let's see.
point of the conversation, which is console exclusives. If something, I have a PS5 and I have an Xbox Series X,
Oh, God, yeah,
and
I hate this
have a
guy.
Switch.
I just looked him up again. He looks like the PlayStation Move controller. he looks
He
like.
does have a little bit of that. Yeah,
I hate
that's
that he
true.
looks like a Sony console that's alive.
Yes,
And
that's
also
the point.
He's
Yeah,
the
but I don't-
mascot of
but
the
I don't
fucking
like it.
console.
That's
I don't like
true.
it.
The game has an actual PS5 controller inside of the game.
Sorry, we can't all make
can't
Sonic the
stand
Hedgehog
Chrono Gen.
every fucking time.
So,
God
so
damn,
you're
dude.
look at you admitting it's bad. You just admitted it's bad. You're like, it's not as good as Sonic. Sonic, an iconic design.
No, I'm
Astrobot,
making the
little
joke
sad
that
dumb
you're-
baby.
No, he's super
Why do you think I didn't
cute.
say Mario? I'm saying the joke is
Sonic-
that I'm sorry that it's not a good
We don't-
90s mascot enough for you.
Yeah.
Like it's fine. Astro Boy is a fine mascot. He is plenty
okay.
adorable.
I don't like him.
Yeah,
He's cute and like oh my
he's
God.
better
fine.
than Mario. I would say he's better than Mario.
I'm not proving anything. It's not like an objective thing. It's literally just
No,
taste. I just
it's-
say I don't like him.
it's-
I don't like
That's
him.
okay. I'm not trying to say that
His face looks
I'm not
like it's the
trying-
touchpad of the fucking like
Yeah.
PS5 controller.
He's the PSVR headset. That's what
Yeah.
he was. He was a tech demo for PSVR. That's why he looks the way he
yeah,
does.
I don't like it.
Okay, well,
I don't like
that's
that
fine.
he's branding the man.
Console exclusives
what do you
kind of don't matter to me because I have a PC and I'll play the games when they come to PC. But
I don't understand
The
why
pro-
this is an alien concept.
Mario
really
is
a concept, it's
literally
just
a
there's so
man
many
who
other-
is the brand. What do
there's
you mean?
so many other reasons to play Astrobot other than just not liking Astrobot himself that it's just wild. But that's
Yeah,
not
it's
the point.
just, I
The point
just
that
like,
I like
I
the
just like,
trees.
I like to play the platformers that look the way I like.
okay,
I'm
well,
like,
so
This looks
again,
neat. I like the stuff in it. I want to run around as those guys.
the PS5 does have no actual games because
Yes.
everything that comes out on it does release on PC. So currently there are 3 PS5 exclusives that I can think of that are notable.
It's
One
like
of
just
them-
Demon Souls, and
Demon Souls,
and Bloodborne.
Astrobot, and
And-
I guess technically Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, but
And
that
didn't
will
Microsoft
come.
buy every major game studio while also simultaneously just giving up at the concept of making games, so it just doesn't have console games anymore?
Sort of. There's a lot to that.
A little
that
bit,
We don't
yeah.
have time for that here. Yes, Microsoft is in a mess right now.
Yeah. I
but,
felt zero tug to even turn on a console in
yeah, I don't
literally
I don't turn on my
years now,
console.
besides the last 2 Zelda games, basically
Now-
obligatorily making me turn on my Switch.
There are games that don't release on PC that are on console, but they're on both Xbox and PlayStation, so it doesn't really matter
Yeah.
which one you get. You can play them. Good example of that from last year was Unicorn Overlord, which is really fucking good, but isn't on PC.
That does look more noteworthy, as opposed to like usually what comes out is like Spider-Man, and I'm like, I'm sure it's fine.
Well,
Never want to
Spider-Man
touch
2 is
it.
a really good example of it's a totally great game, is worth playing, but that will come to PC eventually, so who gives a fuck? You don't need a PS5
And like
for that.
Sony
You
keeps
can
trying to
just-
make Horizon Zero Dawn work, which is like Ambien, the video game.
Yeah. That
Yeah, it's
is
kinda
on
weird that
PC
they're-
too.
Yeah,
They're really going hard on the Horizon Zero Dawn. The franchisification of gaming.
they're trying to make it
I
the new
think it-
flagship of all of Sony, seemingly,
Yeah.
which just makes it all the more funny that keeps like coming out the same day as a bigger release that will destroy it.
Except the thing here is that the sales numbers do show like Horizon Zero Dawn does sell a shockingly large
Yeah,
amount. Like
Yeah,
it
'cause
sells
it's a
very
pretty game.
well.
yeah.
It's
Like I saw
understandable.
the sales figures last week for Horizon Zero Dawn, and it made me think just immediately. I'm like, oh, this is Avatar. This is just the Avatar franchise
Yeah.
of games, where it's like it's the omnipresent, incredibly successful thing that no one ever talks about and everyone forgets about immediately after it comes out, and it has like somehow like that weird experience of something that just keeps being incredibly profitable while simultaneously feeling like it has no cultural like impact.
Yeah.
Like that specific vibe that's like it's so specifically Avatar, because like anything else that makes that big of a wave, or even smaller waves, you cannot escape hearing about it. Like obviously Star Wars and stuff, but even like on a smaller scale, like everyone's talking about everything everywhere all at once, or Parasite, everyone's talking, you can't escape people talking about it, and they're like modestly successful movies. like Horizon Zero Dawn will be a fucking juggernaut that like eclipses that entire sub industry, and will be like, so there was a minor controversy where somebody photoshopped her face, and that's the only conversation you hear about the entire sequel.
Yeah.
Like I literally have no idea what happened in it. I don't know a single feature they added to the game. I think they added swimming. Cool.
Possibly.
The fact that it's an open world,
games.
the fact that
Yeah.
it's an open world game, sort of tight, what's the word?
Like, I think the last one came out the same day as like fucking Tears of the Kingdom or something. Which is like after the last one came out the same day Breath of the Wild or something, and it's like Tears of the Kingdom inescapable as a game. Just inescapable pop
Even though
culture
it's an open world
phenomenon.
game.
And I've never even heard of Horizon Zero Dawn 2 besides the announcement that it was coming out. I would not be surprised if Horizon Zero Dawn 2 outsold Tears of the Kingdom despite that.
No, it definitely hasn't.
It's sold about 10 million copies so far on PS5. I don't know about PC. That was as of a year ago. It made about 10 million copies. So pretty good. Pretty
And
good.
Tears of the
job.
Kingdom must have sold more than that, right? It's a Zelda game.
Tears of the Kingdom.
Tears of the Kingdom does not sell.
sales copies.
Zelda does not sell as much as people think.
Tears of the Kingdom sold 20.5 million copies.
That's good.
See, they
But
sell
less than Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah. Well, that's wild, because speaking of games people forgot existed.
Hogwarts Legacy was the biggest game of the year. Just as a
Yeah.
heads up for people
Yeah.
who aren't aware of that.
Right. But the fucking, but I was talking about there's a misconception about Zelda games selling, because Colonel cited that like it was evidence, was like actually Zelda games like they don't sell poorly, but they don't sell anywhere near as much as like the cultural conversation seems to make you think they do. Because like Zelda games get talked about so fucking much, but like until Breath of the Wild, they were getting totally eclipsed by Mario. Like,
Yeah, if you want to know the cash cow that Nintendo sits on, it's fucking Animal Crossing.
yeah, Animal Crossing,
Animal
Pokemon,
Crossing-
and Mario are massive juggernauts, and Zelda does fine.
Yeah.
fine enough to
Mario
not be
Kart-
forgotten like Star Fox and F-Zero and Metroid.
Mario Kart 8 Deluxe was like the previously largest selling Switch game, I think, at 10 million units during its financial year of 2021. Animal Crossing New Horizons literally doubled that. New Horizons is at 46 million copies sold.
That
Fathom that number. Is an unfathomable amount of statistically
What?
speaking, every single person
It's a
on this
great
planet
game.
owns a copy of Animal Crossing New Horizons.
That's not what statistics mean.
Yes, it is. Every single person with access to a Switch owns Animal Crossing New Horizons. I think Smash and Mario Kart 8 Deluxe technically beats it in terms of number of copies because they had pack-ins. But like, yeah.
Mm.
In terms of just like raw sales velocity, AC New Horizons was fucking unbelievable.
I do own it.
I don't.
It outsells Pokemon. Consider that.
That's
What?
unhinged.
That is
Yeah.
that. Okay, I didn't know that.
COVID
Jesus
was
Christ.
crazy. The pandemic was wild.
But
Do you
it
guys
wa-
remember when that happened?
I learned the
Yeah.
hard way that I don't like Animal Crossing.
I love Animal Crossing. I don't like new
I
Animal
love Animal
Crossing,
Crossing.
though. With Wild
hap-
World, we can just stop there. That's the good
Like,
one.
I literally bought a 3DS because of like feeling FOMO about Animal Crossing. Like, I went to Marty's house, and I think Andrew
Oh.
might have been there, but it's several people
I
were
was there,
there
yeah.
that all had DSs and were all playing New Leaf when it just came out, and we're all like, they just kept popping back in, and like, oh, I got Animal Crossing, and I'm the only person that doesn't have a DS and doesn't have Animal Crossing. So like, over the next couple of weeks, I caved and I bought like Animal Crossing and some Fire Emblem game on that console, I think, and I played Animal Crossing for like 4 days, I think. Like immediately, I'm like, I don't like this loop of like, you did a couple things. Come back tomorrow, and like that,
Wait.
like that whole dynamic. Because Animal
That's how the
Crossing is
game plays.
Animal Crossing is
Do
tied
you
to
not
the
know what
real
Animal Crossing is?
time. Yeah,
I've
it's
never
tied to the
played,
real world calendar.
Yeah.
Oh no, that's so bad. Don't
real
people
time.
have
Yeah.
mobile for that?
It's kind
That's
of like
all, that's why.
yeah, well, yeah, it's kind of like old Facebook games that have energy meters, but it's just like it's more like there's only just so many interactions to do. Like you go up and check out the beach for shells, and you talk to
Oh,
all
it's
your
like a Tamagotchi
villagers,
kinda
and
thing.
you
Or-
kind of but
it's
for a
life
whole little
sim.
village.
It's like The Sims, but in real time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like, and that's its niche, is that it fills daily life and so on. And in a way, I can feel its absence because I'm playing Critter Cove, and that's like the big thing on my channel right now. But in that game, there's just a day-night cycle that lasts like 10 or 20 minutes, and then you can sleep to accelerate it and so on. And that game, you can kind of feel that something's missing because of the fact that stuff is tied to the progression of time, but you can just make time go whenever you want, and there's not like necessarily downsides to it. Like in particular, they made the particular choice of having it be like a tourist destination island, so the island kind of transforms into like, oh god, the fucking the cruise liner's here, and there's 5, 10, or 15 people all come in, and they're trying to patron all of the places that people work at here, and it's like that's how you can make your money every week, like more so than anything else you can reasonably do besides just intense farming. And there's also like a whole structure where like every X number of days a storm happens, and the storm brings up new debris on all the beaches, which you can salvage, and it also shipwrecks critters that you can then find, rescue, and then adopt into your town. Like, oh, I've been looking for a place to live. All of this is tied to a game where you can just you can just lay down 7 times to skip a week. Like you can just do it. So it's like it's extremely abusable because it's not it's like because like they on an inherent level you're like, oh, they kind of did just do it the PC version of Animal Crossing, but they didn't tie it to the real world clock. So why wouldn't you just make it later right now? Is the problem immediately. Because it's not designed around, because it's using systems that aren't necessarily designed around the idea of being able to control the clock and so on. Whereas like Stardew avoids this because, as far as I can tell, Stardew, I mean, like, yeah, from what I can remember at least, like you're running a farm, so it's like you have a bunch of chores to do every day just to make things not fall apart, and that stops you from just napping 7 times to skip to the next festival or whatever.
Yeah.
And also
You can still
Stardew,
do that, but-
also Stardew's like a ticking clock of like, if enough days pass, like the seasons get worse and so on, and like it snows eventually. But in this game, you
The
can just
seasons get
see-
worse. It's just the seasons, Keith. It's not like
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they get, but snow is
California
bad for
brain
farm.
rotted him. He's like, oh, it's not sunny. Season got worse.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Over time, it gets colder, and then it gets
Yeah.
hot again. I don't get it.
The sky went bad. It's past its expiration.
someone
it's past its
someone
expiration
turned off
date.
the sun.
No, I'm saying this because I don't play Stardew really, but I used to live
Yeah.
with Marty's wife Ashley, and she would just start the game over every time it got to a certain season. Like, no, it's not fun anymore.
Oh, really?
And she would just start
She
the
never
game over
experienced late
instead of
game?
finishing it. Yeah.
oh, that's late game is so nice.
Some people just never finish games, even though they're playing them constantly.
The
Because
beginning is really.
like I remember
fun.
this from
It is-
childhood, and there's also just people that do this, and there's also people like watch all of a show except for the ending and then just stop and never finish it on purpose.
That bothers
No
me.
way.
Yeah, people do that.
What?
That's nice.
Like on that similar
Why-
note, like
why-
Ashley would just like play 90% of Subnautica over and over again, but never finish it. She would just not turn. She would never like finish the game. She would just refuse.
Well, the ending of Subnautica is different though. It's like a, it's not the same kind of. It's kind of like here's the story bit.
Yeah, it's like a fetch quest.
Yeah, so it makes sense in Subnautica, but
Yeah,
and it makes sense as well in Stardew because it is a different. It changes, like even the pacing of the game changes because you start to get more money, and everything is more expensive, or the things that you want are more expensive, and the mines are more difficult. But then you get all the cool interaction, all the cool cutscenes, and there's all the secrets. It's just
Yeah.
Stardew is so nice.
but Animal Crossing for me is like the
I-
anti-Astrobot. Like Astrobot is like this would
What?
probably be fun if I played it, but I look at it and don't want to. Animal Crossing, every time I see anything about it, I want to love it. I like look at the funny little wolf man, the hyenas, and like you can craft your little base and and it just looks cozy. And then 5 minutes into playing it, I'm like, I don't understand how to have fun or what I'd want to do next or why I'd want to come back tomorrow. And then I just stop.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I like fishing.
I
fishing for
like
fish.
fishing. Yeah, I like.
That's why I
looking
play
for
Animal
bugs.
Crossing. Is I
I like to
wake up in the morning
up
and I check the
things.
town for fossils and I weed my town, and then I go to the store to see if there's cool outfits to buy, and if there is, and I don't have enough money for it, I go fishing, and I get some fish. I
So that
sell
you
the
get money.
fish. I get the money and I buy the cool outfit and I put the outfit on and I feel good about myself.
Yay.
That's what Animal Crossing is. Now, granted, I'm not a huge fan of the newer ones because the newer ones give you more control and they kind of like make you really important. Where it's like, you're the mayor of the town now. It's up to you to build bridges and terraform your entire town to look look exactly how you want it. I don't want that. I want the game to be
Mm.
to exist as a world that I don't have a say in other than my one job, which is to pay my bills and fill the museum. And the
And weed-
second
weed
it
the
starts
town.
being like, hey, you can actually reset your village and pick 1 out of 7 maps and you can do all this and that and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, I don't want that. I'm not here to become a town designer. I just want to wear nice clothes and like I don't get to go outside in my real world and decide what my neighbor's lawn looks like. Why should I do that in Animal Crossing? I can plant some flowers, that's fine, but like I don't want to terraform. I don't want to do that shit. So that's why I don't like New Horizons.
They made you the god of their world, and it's like
Yes.
too much. It's like now it's your
Exactly.
responsibility to personally craft the perfect island, and it's like
Yes.
where it's like I wanted to react
Animal
to this
Crossing
island.
is fun because you're living somewhere versus building somewhere.
Yes.
I can get-
So it is
I can
nice
get,
to
like-
go outside and like.
I get a version of that because I don't play Animal Crossing, but like when I play Minecraft, I want to make a base that's like I want to build stuff that's like reacting to the landscape instead of just being like I'm gonna fucking level this and make my own world and stuff. Like I'll literally like find a cool looking like crevice between 2 mountains and then build like a mountain to mountain like structure that's like part of the landscape, the way that like real life like lodges might show up and stuff. And it's like this is more satisfying than like reacting to an existing canvas and stuff in a context. It's more fun than being given the ultimate power to like just make something from scratch as if the existing stuff didn't have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
I struggle with games that are just like make your own fun because I go, all right, I'm gonna set a goal. I'm gonna build the thing over this. I'm gonna build the perfect village, and then when I finish the village and the game doesn't acknowledge it, and it's just me staring upon my own works, I
Just-
despair.
It's your job to tell yourself that you're done and you did it.
Yeah, it's like you did a good job. It's like cool. That was a lot of work. I could have just imagined it and gotten the same feeling I'm getting right now looking at it. That's why Minecraft like never does it for me. Like when I play Minecraft, and granted, I played a lot of Minecraft when it was like first out. It's been years since I've played, so I don't know all they've added. The last time I played Minecraft was probably 2012.
They have frogs. They
outside
have
of my like
lanterns.
phone where I play like survival. My point is like survival is what I think of as Minecraft, where it's like, okay, the goal is to survive and find neat things and like build stuff so that you can live. When people are like, look, I made a village and I built the perfect redstone mine that automates turning the lights on and off in my place. I'm like, cool. How does this help you survive? What's the point of this? What happens when the creepers kill you? And they're like, what do you mean? No, I don't. I don't do that. I just build. I build like a cool castle. And I'm like, what? How do you get anything out of this? It's like you dumped Legos
like
on
a
my
cool
floor.
castle?
Clean up.
Yeah, my
like a
loop
cool
is that I build a little shelter that's lit inside, obviously, with like a bed and chests and stuff, and then I'll just like go on expeditions to find places like you can strip mine, obviously, but I want to find like cool, complex cave systems to like explore and find the exposed stuff in them because that's more satisfying.
Oh, yeah,
And
cave
then I'll just have
is
all these
cool.
minerals and shit that are in my inventory clogging them up. So I'll be like, all right, well, let's make this place a little nicer. So I'll just pivot back and forth between like making a somewhat more satisfying home up top to then going down and mining and finding resources and getting new bases. And it just kind of like self-regulates as a loop and before you know, it's been like 100 hours and you got a moat.
I just like, I want my games to be games. Like I don't want them to just be like, here, like this. I mean, this was always my big issue with Tears of the Kingdom, was just this idea of like, hey, you can do whatever you want in it. You can solve the problems. And it's like, if you give me the keys to the kingdom, I'm going to solve the problems in the most efficient way possible every single time. And so every puzzle is going to have the same solution. I'm going to duct tape 2 logs together and it will beat 95% of the game. Like I'm not going to build a beautiful bridge.
Because most people just use the hover bike, which is 2 fans and a steering column attached to each other. And then that covers most of the game. And the system's frustrating enough to use that even when you want to be creative, you probably will just cave and use that half the time because it's just so much work to be creative just to go across like a gap when you have the thing that solves the problem just in your back pocket and it's cheaper to make than whatever you're thinking of.
And I'm saying this like as someone who likes creative things. Like I'm not an uncreative person. I do writing and I help run the tabletop show and stuff like that. But when I am going into a video game, generally, I am looking to interact with game design, which usually has explicit goals.
I want to be in conversation with the game. And so what was so frustrating about Tears of the Kingdom is that there's a giant sandbox of nonsense. And then when you go to actually play the game with any kind of goal that the game has, none of that stuff matters.
It feels really shallow.
Playing the story basically never interacts with any of the building mechanics and sandbox stuff. It was like they forgot to make a game about that.
Yeah. I just can't get into games that are built out of like 95 superfluous systems that don't really like they don't terminate
like
anything.
I at least get the impression that in nuts and bolts you have to nuts and bolts, but in Tears of the Kingdom you don't really have to actually build to play the game. It's basically it's almost pointless most of the time. The most you have to do is to be like, there's a minecart in this room, but I have to go uphill. Oh, there's a rocket next to it. I'll put it on the minecart. Whoa, I'm building. Because every puzzly moment on the critical path just has the stuff next to it that will do the thing that they need you to do. So it's like, okay, cool game, guys. This is just as cool as Dungeon Items. Anyway, that's been our podcast this week. I don't know what the fuck the theme of this one was besides depression. Probably depression.
Write it down. Write it down now, not tomorrow.
It's too late. I literally said I don't know it now.
Oh, dang it.
You fool.
Depression is good. Depression is good. You can write it down.
We're all terminally depressed.
Yes.
And it's your fault! Exclamation point. There you go. That's the thumbnail.
There we go. That's what I
know.
Perfect.
See you guys next week.
Bye.
Or else.
Goodbye.
I probably won't.
No.
He said that 3 times in a row. Now he actually has done through Beetlejuice logic. He's now trapped here forever in every episode.
I'll see you guys next week. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Bye.